Really excited to have you all of you to be committing your next few hours in learning about the AI. The only thing I want you to focus on from this disclaimer list is have your pen and paper, right? You don't have to make your notes like while I'm explaining, but take a pointers, right? For all the concepts, just have some pointers wherever you feel that, okay, this is of great use. This is something new to me, and I can go back and refer the same information, right? So just have that pen and paper for making your notes, or you can call it as memory maps for yourself. And obviously, or you can call it as memory maps for yourself. And obviously, if you want, you can have your coffee for undivided attention for, let's say, next 2 to 2.5 hours. And let's get started. And yes, about my journey, how I got started. And let's get started. And yes, about my journey, how I got started. So I would say initial when I was doing my bachelor's from JSS Bangalore in electronics and communication, I was playing around these devices. So how many of you, I have a question for this, can recognize these two tiny devices, which we call it as embedded devices? And can you give me a name? Okay, I can see one Arduino and Raspberry Pi. Perfect. Right. So these are two microcontrollers. You can call it as embedded devices which connects the internet and the sensors data, right? So I was playing around this while I was doing my internship at Air India, and I would say did this for almost 9 to 11 months. But then I realized that I have to go and do my master's into this data sciences when I'm dealing with these kind of census data. Why not you pursue this sciences? And then I went on to pursuing my master's in data sciences from Symbiosis and then University of Hyderabad. And luckily, you can say, participated in a lot of hackathons, a lot of competitions along the lines, and started working at VMware as a data and applied scientist. Worked there for 2 years, and then finally switched to the Microsoft as a data and applied scientist, working in the Copilot side of a things on the Microsoft Teams product, right? IC3 team. And definitely, that is something which I like to do is participating in hackathons, right? So that is the, you can say that thrill that it gives, right? To solve a problem that you have to come up with, right? And you have to make an MVP or like a solution within a 1 week. So that gives a really, Kickstarter to us. And one of that idea, right, like which I'll be talking about, is emerged from the hackathon only, right? So this is very close to my heart, which is edu.ai, which I'm building something alongside. On a very high level, this is an educational AI assistant, right? Sitting in the pockets of every student, which will help them to study better, right? And it's not a traditional ChatGPT. It can do a lot of other things, right? It has a contextual knowledge of their textbooks. It can give the smaller animations, quizzes, and a lot of other things. So it's in joint, we are working with some Bangalore schools in the government and villages. Mostly targeting as a non-for-profit things because it's associated or incubated within the Microsoft. So it's like with the name Shiksha Copilot, you can definitely read about it. So we are doing this piloting with a lot of students, measuring them, how they have increased their study level and productivity. So that is one of a side project which I am working and really excited for it. And yeah, definitely you can, we can discuss more about it at the later point of time. You can reach out to me if you want to know more. But with that, I think let's get started. And I'm really passionate about this field, and you will see that along the side when I'll keep on sharing the knowledge, the use cases that I use AI for, and how it is shaping my life and everyone else's life, right? Because what I feel, right, if I tell you before even getting started what we are learning and why, right, you should know the why part, like why I need to learn AI. So the main first reason that I can tell you, right, the objective of AI is to reduce the time for any task that you are doing right now and which takes, let's say, X amount of time, right? You pick up any AI tool, right? Any AI tool in any field, if you are taking X amount of time, and with that AI, you are reducing from X to Y, right? That delta, how much time you can save and you can increase your productivity, whatever field, right? Be it your video generation, editing, you are into coding, whatever field you are into, if you can save time utilizing AI, that's the whole objective of AI agents, AI, coming into the humanity life, right? And that's how you should have the notion in your mind. Great. So now let's get started with the very first definition, right? As Funny told, we have divided, right? This session I have divided into three parts. We will be going in a step one, understanding what are these large language model, what is this generative AI, right? How it is different from the traditional AI. Then we will be looking at some of the greater applications of AI, right? How we can utilize and make use of those applications and how people are using around, right? Not just me, how people are using AI in their day-to-day scenarios. And then we will be having a lot of hands-on with the tools, right? So it's not a 3 hours of me speaking. It is a lot of doing, and we will be taking along you the list of tools like productivity tools and the data analysis tools that you can incorporate into your workflows, right? So that's the whole intention of next 2 to 2.5 hours. And let's get started. Right. So now I want you to focus on the word, right? I mean, the original content, right? This is a typical definition which you can get from the Google. What is generative AI? It's a type of artificial intelligence, right? It's not only the AI, it is a type, one of the type of artificial intelligence which creates original content, right? Such as text, images, and videos. And now you should be pondering, or you should be curious. The question should come to your mind, why we are calling it as original content, right? When there is a lot of notion in the market that AI cannot, I mean, AI is copying the human task, AI is copying the people or website, it is learned from everything. So imagine, right? Just imagine if you were given a task, right? Or let's say I was given this task that I need to go and give the presentation on, let's say, something called chemical engineering side, right? Which I have never studied throughout. I mean, let's say after my bachelor's, I've never studied about chemical engineering. So what I'll do, I'll go, what are my sources of learning, right? So I'll go and read the books, I'll go to the web, read the articles, understand my knowledge, right? Increase my knowledge, and then finally go and present it, right? And it will not be exact copy paste of the information which I read from the internet or which I read from the book, right? It is the derived information, not the exact copy paste. And same way, when we say it can creates the original content, now model has learned all the patterns. Now patterns within the text, pattern within the images and videos, and this generative AI is capable enough to generate something original, new, which I mean, people have never seen I mean, in their context, right? Or in their learning. It can generate anything imaginary. You tell it, it can give you the commands, right? So that's the definition. And now let's break down this subject, right? Because I get a lot of questions from the students when I go and ask them, okay, what is generative AI? What is ChatGPT and all? So they tell me their different perspectives. So let's break down. And then finally, we'll be decoding the 5-step process. How does LLM work at the backend, right? Large language models. Okay. So this is the broad content, right? When there is a lot of notion in the market that AI, AI cannot, I mean, AI is copying the human task or exchange their information, right? There is no fourth way how human can convey the information, right? So from that, I want you to imagine, right? The first thing you do is you speak to someone, you speak to your parents, your friends, right? That is the speech coming in, right? Which is our one of the unstructured data points, right? Just imagine we have the web, read the articles, understand my knowledge, right? Increase my knowledge, and then finally go and present it, right? And it will not be exact copy paste of the information which I read from the internet or which I read from the book, right? It is the derived information, not the exact copy paste. And same way, when we say it can creates the original content, now model has learned all the patterns. Now patterns within the text, pattern within the images and videos, and this generative AI is capable enough to generate something original, new, which I mean, people have never seen. I mean, in their context, right, or in their learning, it can generate anything imaginary. You tell it, it can give you the commands, right? So that's the definition. And now let's break down this subject, right? Because I get a lot of questions from the students when I go and ask them, okay, what is generative AI? What is ChatGPT and all? So they tell me their different perspectives. So let's break down, and then finally we'll be decoding the 5-step process. How does LLM work at the backend, right? Large language models. Okay. So this is the broader definition, and now we are focusing on what has changed, right? Why there is a so much hype of generative AI. So this slide will help you out understanding and navigating the noise. And I promise you, I mean, this will become the go-to, I mean, conversation whenever you will be starting with your friend or family members, right? So let me ask you this way. Imagine your daily routine, right? Imagine that you wake up in the morning and how human exchanges the information, right? And if I tell you there are only 3 ways in which human can communicate or exchange their information, right? There is no fourth way how human can convey the information, right? So from that, I want you to imagine, right? The first thing you do is you speak to someone, you speak to your parents, your friends, right? That is the speech coming in, right? Which is our one of the unstructured data points, right? Just imagine we have something called speech or audio. Second thing is I do read a lot of articles, read blogs, read magazine, newspaper, information books, I publish a lot of text, right, in form of blogs, Medium articles, and all sort of stuff. So that is the second way of communication or exchanging, giving you some information is the text, right? And the third and the final is images. And to process these all three unstructured data now, we have this science called data science, right? That's how, I mean, what we have studied in our masters in AI and machine learning and data sciences, right? So these are the three data points which we have to mine the information from. And we have the traditional subjects called machine learning and deep learning to do that, right? And I can convey the same information in either of these three mediums, right? And I mean, one example, let's say that I send you a WhatsApp voice message saying that there is a sales going on Adidas, 50% off, right? You got the information. Now, if I text you this message that 50% off on Adidas, you got the same information via text message. Or if I send you an image with the poster of Adidas logo and middle it is 50% off, you got the same information, right? But the mediums were totally different in all three ways. So these are my unstructured data, and we have a deep learning and machine learning to learn those patterns out of the data and give us the output, right? Whatever we want to achieve. But the thing was, back till 2022, right? Early 2022, I started working. I mean, in 2018, I started doing my master's. In 2020, I was doing as a full time. So this particular field is only restricted for the people who know programming, right? You cannot build a model for machine learning and deep learning without knowing Python. That's the foremost requirement, and that makes it difficult for the people who are not a technical acumen, right? Who do not have or do not do programming. But when ChatGPT came in November 2022, like it was quite famous, right? It acquired 5 million users, I think 100 million active users within 5 days. So now the barrier has been removed, right? And the language of these models have been changed. And the language is now prompt engineering, which is nothing but simply saying we have to provide the instruction, right? And I can do that multiple instruction at a time, and my model can achieve that task for me. I can make it do sentiment classification of my reviews. Let's say I have Amazon reviews. I can make them translate into some other language, my English reviews to, let's say, Spanish, and so on, right? And if I go back in 2020, if I have to achieve the same task, I have to build a separate model for classification, I mean, sentiment classification. I have to build one model for translation. I have to build another model for another task. So if I have three tasks, I have to build three separate models, right? And that has been changed with the LLMs, right? And this is the biggest shift that has happened in the generative AI. And that is where, right, this particularly block, now you can correlate with it. We are calling the name large language models because they are only dealing with our text part of unstructured data. That is why it's a language, right? It's a large language models. It has nothing to do with your audio. It has nothing to do with your images, right? So this is this, I mean, one of the smaller Venn diagram, you can say smaller subcircle of it, large language models, which we will understand now. How does it happen? I mean, how does it perform at the backend, right? So I hope that is clear, right? If I just want to gauge your understanding, you got the point that we have only three data points, and now we are looking at the text part, which is the large language model. Perfect, right? I can see a lot of yes. Perfect, great. Okay, and yeah, all your questions, I mean, you can put it in the Q&A tab. We will be taking at the end and all sort of stuff. But yeah, let's focus on learning about the LLMs, right? So now what happens when you put something on ChatGPT, right? It always give us the right answers, right? It always go and, I mean, pull up the right answers, do no spelling mistakes, nothing, all grammatically correct, right? So what is happening? So let's do that, right? Let me show you a clear example so that we have the understanding. So let's say I went on to say, can you explain me LLM, right? Let me put it that way only, right? I am just inputting, can you explain me about LLM? So what will happen, right? It will go and give you the answer, right? Nothing fancy about it. It will go and give you the technical definitions, right? Because I have specified only, can you explain me about LLM? And it will tell me what is LLM, what does it stand for, how does it work, right? Some, all of these, right? Transformer architecture, RLHF. I mean, you are getting some technical definitions, right? But what is happening at the back end, right? What has happened? If I've inputted something, how the model understand and giving me the output, right? And if I change the context now, right? A little change in context, the model can understand how I have to reply to the user, right? I'll do the same thing and add a slight different context because we do not need a technical definition, as if I am 5 year old, right? If I have just changed this line, can you explain me about LLM, as if I am a 5 year old, the whole definition has been changed, or all, and the entire response has been changed. And it is as if we have to explain it to a 5 year old kid what is LLM, right? It's a super smart robot friend who has read millions of books, stories. And once you ask something, it knows everything, it will predict the answer, right? So this is something it has given a very simple, plain vanilla explanation to an LLM. Now, what happens, right? What are the steps? So I want you to take down these 5 steps, right? Just the name of these. And I mean, you can take our screenshots and all, that is totally fine. But just understand we have this whole process in the 5 step, right? Just we need to focus on those 5 steps. So what is happening, right? The first step is tokenization. That means, in simple terms, whenever I input something, the model breakdowns each and every word in my sentence into a token, right? This is known as tokenization. And now you should have this question that why, right? Always have this curiosity, right, of asking why to each and every step. And that's how you will learn the fundamentals, right? So it always, I mean, if you're following Elon Musk and all great personalities, they focus on fundamental, right? The first principles. So if you're clear with first principle, you can build anything advanced. That's what I believe, because I also have built a lot of applications, and that is from the first principles, right? So let's understand, why do we need to tokenize, right? Why, what is the need of that? Because we cannot see this happening live on the chat GPT, but this happens every time, right? So let me show you visually, right? So that you can know how does tokenization help, right? I'm going to the OpenAI tokenizer platform, which is officially from the OpenAI, and let me write something. Hi, we all are learning Gen AI, right? So I've written this. You can see the count, right? I have tokens, which is nothing but tokenization, breaking down of my input sentence into individual tokens, right? If you can see this color, all of my words in my sentence is my single token, right? Now the question, right? Why? Because model doesn't understand English, the language of computer in general, right? Whenever we have studied from our childhood, the language of computers are binary, which is numbers, right? Zeros and ones, or you can say it's a binary. So when I click on token IDs, right? So you can see that model is looking at these numbers, right? So for Chat GPT, if I'm writing, hi, we all are learning Gen AI, it's a series of numbers, right? 581, 722, and so on. And now you have to agree with me that we have a finite set of English language words, right? I'm talking about only English language, nothing else. So that's the reason, right? So every word can be mapped to some number, right? If I just Google search it, how many English language words we have, right? In Oxford Dictionary, it comes around near to 1 lakh, right? I don't know the exact, it is near to 1 lakh. You can Google search it. And out of those 1 lakh, we as a human generally speak or write around 30,000 vocabulary words, right? And that is all the information present on the internet, right? They are the permutation and combination of these words only. So that is the reason that model breakdowns into a numerical form, right? This is a numeric, right? The token IDs. And that's how the model understand the first step, tokenization, right? It has something to do with the costing also, right? A lot of models have the costing based on tokens. So that's the first step, to break down my input sentence into tokens. Now, very important step, second step, embeddings, right? We have to, the purpose of embeddings is we convert our tokens, right? Now we know each and every word is token, right? So token and words are synonyms for us right now. Now we have to introduce the meaning into our sentence, right? So the job of embedding model is to convert our token into a numerical vector, which has a meaningful representation, right? So their words have a meaning now, right? I'll show you the output of this also, so that you have a clear understanding. What does it mean? How does it look like, right? So now we have said, right, all the words present in the English language are there, right? So imagine these are my words, and I'm visualizing it in a 3 dimensions, right? So I have a 3 dimensions of all the words. Right now it is 10K, right? So this is 10K, but we have like all the words present in English language, and they are represented in a very high dimensions, right? So now if I search, let's say Apple, right? So it is coming out to be all the words which are associated with the word Apple, and that is where we need to have embeddings coming into the picture, right? I'll tell you 2 sentences and you will get this step very much clear. So let's say I say that I am eating a delicious apple, right? This is my first sentence. And second sentence, I am using an Apple iPhone, right? So the word apple here is spelled same, but they have a totally different meaning in both the context, right? And how does this meaning coming in? Because we say that LLM has been trained on everything that is present on the internet, right? So model has learned that there is 2 types of apple. One is the apple fruit and one is the apple brand, right? And that how the model has learned from the text representation. And now if you can see, there is a juice word also coming in, right? If you can see that, right? If the word was, we got, okay, I think it got reset, right? So the juice was also coming in. Why? Because Apple is associated with something called juice as well, right? And now model has to decide, say, this is the fruit is also coming, juice is also coming. Now the model has to decide, right, based on the context, that user is talking about the fruit apple or it is talking about the brand apple. And that's how it introduces the meaningful representation into our sentences. And that is very much necessary so that model can understand the entire context, right? So those are our 2 steps. First is tokenization, second is embedding. Now we have the meaning coming into the picture. And there are a lot of sentences, by the way, like that, right? I give you one more example. Let's say I say that I am going to bank to open my savings account versus I am sitting on a riverbank and enjoying the sunset, right? So the bank here is used in a totally different context and they have a different embedding altogether, right? And the model has already been trained, so it knows what is my vector representation of that word, right? So it has learned that representation while training. Perfect. Now the third step, I think third step, you can agree with this, right? We did a live demonstration right now, right? So self-attention, third step is self-attention, which says that model has to focus on the important parts within the input text, right? So for example, when I went on to ChatGPT, right, I asked something called, can you explain me about the large language model, right? Just before this, I think we have the, yes, right? So I went on, asked like, what is large language model? Can you explain me about LLM? It has started giving me a technical definition, right? Because I have not given any further context in my input query. So it has given me a very good definition, right? To so that it can explain me what is neural network, what is training data, and it's a technical definition. But as soon as I added this part, right? Can you explain me about LLM? As if I'm a 5-year-old, right? The entire narrative shift towards this part, right? So for input, for ChatGPT, this part is most important, right? Model has given importance to this part, right? After I have introduced this particular line that as if I'm a 5-year-old. And you see the response has entirely got drifted towards the easier explanation, right? How does that happen? It happens because of the step three, which is self-attention, focusing on the most important part of my text, right? Giving more weightage to it so that it understand what user is asking. And you agree to this point that 99% of times you'll get an accurate response, right? I'm leaving 1% for the doubt side. It's an AI. We cannot say it's 100% correct. So 99% of the times it will always be correct, right? So all these three steps, tokenization, embedding, and self-attention happens when I input something or when I'm asking something on ChatGPT, right? And when I say ChatGPT, it means all the LLMs, right? So I'm using the word ChatGPT because I'm demonstrating it over ChatGPT, this example. But you imagine all the LLMs, right? We have Claude, we have Gemini, we have DeepSeek, all of them works on the same principle. Principle never changes. It's just that parameters are getting changed, right? These fundamentals will be same for all the LLMs. Now, the fourth step, it start from the model output, right? Now I have asked something, right? All the three steps, my tokenization, embeddings, and self-attention was something I have asked on ChatGPT. Now the fourth step is model is giving the output. Model start drafting its output, right? So model is giving its response to the user query. And the fourth step called the prediction, right? So the model is predicting, it's not guessing, right? It's not doing something. So I'll tell you one scenario or one instance, right? So earlier days, I asked someone, can you tell me how does ChatGPT is giving the right answers? So I got one answer that there is someone who is typing these answers, right? There is someone who knows everything and it is typing, right? So it's an AI model, right? It's a prediction model. It's not a smart model. It's doing a probability prediction, right? It's a probability. So you'll get this more clear. You guys tell me, if I have this sentence, imagine you have a super smart robot friend who has read every dash. What all words you can fit it in this dash, right? What all words you can think of can fill this dash. Okay, I can see book, I can see website, perfect, person, article, voice, novel, stories, perfect, right? So all of your words, right? This is nothing but your tokens now, right? Each and every word is token, newspaper, blogs, all of them are correct. All of them are absolutely correct, right? But the model will choose which has the higher probability, right? Based on the context, right? Based on the context, what you have asked, what you have read, what model is predicting at that point of time, right? So imagine you have a super smart robot friend who has read every book. Let's say book will get the higher probability compared to the person, the word person, right? Person will get, let's say, zero point 0.3 probability, book will get, let's say, zero point 0.7. So model is highly likely to choose the words which have the higher probability. That's the only intention based on the learning it has done and based on what user is asking. So it's a probabilistic model which give a probability to each and every token, right? Token is now words for us, and the higher probability words get chosen for the response. And it happens word by word, one by one, right? So next example, if you can tell me, if I have one more sentence called the chef added the salt to enhance the dash of the dish, right? One possible option can be flavor, taste, right? Uh, okay, aroma, perfect, right? Essence, right? We like a lot of good words, right? A lot of good tokens, I would say. Okay, essence, flavor, swad. Okay, perfect. Right. So now you got a gist, right? What is happening? So the model is predicting the highly probability word, right? And if you are noticing or focusing on my word, I'm not saying the highest, right? If I say highest probability word, that means you will get every time same response if the user is asking the same word. right? So it's not the highest, it's the higher probability words where you have a lot of options of the words coming in and model has to choose the best one, right? So that's how the model is predicting. Because if I go and ask the same query exactly same, right, the answer will not be same. And I hope that you guys have tested this out already. Like ChatGPT is there for long 3-4 years now, right? So if I go and ask the same query again, it will not be exactly the same output, right? It will be a bit different. Choices of words will be different. The narrative will be different, right? So imagine it is coming, right? It's not the exactly same word to word map, right? So you are talking to Magic Talking Robot friend. It has given the same lines, but the words are not same, right? If you just compare, want to compare, right? This is my this, and let's see the previous one. It is not exactly same, but this is on the same lines, right? This is how our previous response was looking like. So it choose from the higher probability words, not the highest, and that's how the model are designed to, right? That is how the ChatGPT or other LLM are designed to, right? This is the feature of it. And now you got an, I mean, understanding the model is predicting the tokens one by one. And finally, I get my response out from the model, right? It is predicting one by one. And I can say that how LLM gets me the answer, right? So if anyone asks you now, how does LLM work at the backend? You are using ChatGPT, you can explain the 5-step process. It starts from tokenization to embedding, getting the meaning into the picture, then focusing on the relevant part in our transformer mechanism, which we call it as self-attention. Finally, model starts predicting one token at a time and the response generation is done, right? So that is how the Gen AI works. So, I mean, just want to know, did you guys understand and now how you're feeling, right? Like, is it easy to understand how does Gen AI work? Great. I can see a lot of yes. Perfect. All right, let's move on, right? We have a very packed agenda. So I'll keep on, I mean, asking you, gauging your understanding, and then keep moving. So now let's, and we have understood the backend, right? So this is the one of our first aspect of understanding how does LLM works at the backend. And as I said, right, it applies to all the LLM, right? Not just ChatGPT. Every LLM works like in the same manner. All the 5 steps what we have just discussed, right? And now the second thing we need to understand, right? When I say that the language of these models have been changed, right? So which is the prompting, or you can call it as plain English instruction. I have to ask in a right way so that I'm getting the right output, right? So I think you might have heard about this notion. If garbage goes in, the garbage comes out, right? If I'm not asking or I'm asking something garbage, not in a proper format, I will get the garbage as my output, right? So to combat this, people or research have come up with these prompting techniques, right? If you can see on the screen, and there are plenty of more, right? There can be hundred of prompting techniques, zero shots, few shots, chain of thoughts. All of these are the prompting techniques. And I mean, it will take around 3 to 4 hours if I go and cover all of these, right? And what is the difference in all of those? A slight difference in how the instruction is given to it, right? So I'll give you one technique which performs 80% of your task, or I would say 95% of your task can be solved by just one prompting techniques, right? This is the best technique if you can use in your day-to-day task whenever you have opening, right? Any LLM, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whenever you use this kind of a structure, 95% of the task will be solved for you guys, right? And let's know and learn about this one prompting technique called magic prompt formula, right? So let's start with the practical demo, right? So it will be most of our today's session will be a practical demos only, along with the bit on learning side, I mean theoretical side. Right. So now imagine I have a task, right? Writing an email to our 10K subscriber, inviting to a workshop, right? So if I go about it and write this thing, right? So this is the behavior of ChatGPT. It will always give the answer. So can you write an email inviting my 10K subscribers in Gen AI workshop? Right. So I've just given that, okay, let's say I want to put this as an email, or let's say I want to put it as my LinkedIn post for my followers, right? Like, can you give me an email inviting 10K subscribers in the Gen AI workshop, right? If I give this, the still it will give me a response, right? The model will always give us the response with the perfectly draft. I mean, everything will be looking good as per the email. But if you guys rate this particular prompt, how would you rate this output, right? Out of, let's say, 10, how much would you score this prompt, right? Or how much score would you give to this answer? Right? I can see 7, 9, 10. Okay, 2. Oh, people are giving it minus also. I would personally give it 1 or 2. Okay, 9.5. Mm, okay, out of 10. Yeah, I asked out of 10, but yeah. So I will give personally 1 or 2, right? The reason is now you tell me. that this is an example of bad prompt, right? How does we are, how we are mitigating this fact that who is this workshop for, right? How many people we are inviting in, what are their backgrounds, what we will be teaching inside the Gen AI workshop, right? No context is given to the model, and still model has given us the output, right? Why? Because model is, trained in such a manner that it has to respond to the user query, right? So now it comes back to us that we humans have to explain or use these prompting techniques to make them understand what is the user task. And that is why there are a lot of techniques, right? I'll share you one link also, and so that you can refer it back, right? If you want to go about reading more of these techniques, what is a very good website, right? So you can see zero shots, few shot learning, chain of thoughts prompting. And I guess, you have another sessions, right? Tomorrow and Sunday. Some of these techniques will be getting used in those scenarios as well, right? Like what we learned today is the magic prompt formula, right? The prompt formula. So you will be using all the other techniques in few sessions, but definitely you can refer it. Later at the point of time if you want to explore. And these are all research based, right? These are not something coming out of the context. So if I go to chain of thoughts, you can see that there is someone who has research on chain of thoughts, what exactly he has done with this instruction, and you can read how does the model is performing, right? So under the hood, it's English language only, right? Because we say that there is no programming when it comes to prompting. It's a plain English language, plain English instruction. But still, there is some science how to write a good prompt. And that's what everyone should know for building this AI powered products, right? AI applications, powered products, whatever you call it as. If you don't know prompting, you don't know AI. That's the simple notion I can share you with, right? So you should know prompting technique, how to write a good prompt. And when you read more about it, you'll find that there is a slight difference in each one of them, right? Like zero shot and few shots are quite related. Chain of thoughts and tree of thoughts are quite related with some bit of tweaks people have introduced, right? So that is how prompting is very useful. And now I gave you the example of bad prompt. What does magic prompt formula looks like, right? That's the what we need to learn now, right? And this is where we will be learning about the magic prompt formula, which has these four section detailed, and I can use it for any task, right? And let me show you practically also the output, and then we will see what is happening interestingly in this prompt. Right. So I am asking now my one-liner prompt, which was the bad prompt. Now we are asking the same thing, right? Write an email to my 10K subscriber for GenAI workshop determined by Outscale, right? Now something is role, right? We are defining a role or context here that you are an experienced email copywriter who has written for the brands like Ogilvy, right? And now why we are doing this? Imagine model has learned everything that is present on the internet, right? That's the notion. We already know that LLMs are trained on everything. They might have read, right? Like if I Google search now, how to write a best email, there must be a lot of articles, right? How to write a good email. The brands like Ogilvy, which are good at email marketing and all, they have written good posts, which we as a human have a task to read, right? But now LLM has already been trained on this. Model will go back and fetch that information into our writing. And that's the power of giving a persona, right? So whatever task you are solving, give a persona to the model that, hey, you are a fitness coach, you are my mentoring coach, you are my investor, you are my startup buddy, you are my mental health coach, you will help me fine tune my ideas. So whatever you are doing a brainstorming with the large language models, give it persona so that model is getting into that shoes of that particular personality and giving you the tailored output that you want, right? So it's very powerful. You can try that out, right? Then I have given write a launch email, and this is my context dump, right? So this is the whole dump of context that this workshop is for 25 years plus old who wants to learn chat GPT. We have something called marketing, tech, product design, and it is for all the people, right? So that's how we are giving the entire context. And finally, we are giving a review that you need to connect it to have the review as well. Right. So this is how the model sends it and give us the output back. And now you can see that, right? Model is going into the depth, giving us the output, and it's quite tailored what we want as an output. Right. So this is how the magic prompt formula, and it has all ended, right? Team outscale, everything is perfectly drafted it out. And that is how the model is giving us the output. Perfect. Right. So this is how our LLM understanding and prompt together works, both, in sync whenever we are dealing with the large language models. And this is on a high level that model should follow the instruction, right? So that is how we can say that they are instruction follower models. All the LLMs come under the category of instruction followers. So if you have drafted your instructions in a right way, you will get a best output from the LLMs. Great, right? So I hope everyone is clear with the prompting. We have learned about the LLM, and now we are moving towards our second problem which emerges from this particular thing, which is which model to use while we are dealing with these tasks, right? Whenever I have a task for the LLMs, I have plenty of models, which one to choose when, right? So this is the intriguing question that we should ask ourselves. And it's quite confusing also, right? I get this question of plenty of times, right? We have ChatGPT, we have Claude, we have Gemini, I have a Copilot, I have a Grok, which is from the XAI, right? I mean, Twitter. So which model to use when I have a lot of options? How should I decide, right? So all of that clutter that you have, we will be breaking down. And yeah, these are our bunch of models from these companies, right? We have GPT-4, 4o, Claude 3, Sonnet. Within Claude, we have 4, 5 models. Within Gemini, we have 4, 5 models, and so on. So how to decide which models are the best for what particular task, right? So now we will break down, right, into some categories. But before that, right, before me breaking down these models into two categories, would you like to take a guess how many models are out in there in the world? And I'm talking about only large language models, right? How many models you think? Okay, 80, 50,000 plus, hundreds, 44. Okay, 1,000 plus. Okay. So I'm talking about only and only the thing which is large language models, right? So these are close to 433, right? And it keeps on changing. I mean, this is where we checked last week, right? 433 and counting. If I check it today, it might be more than that, right? And I'm using to check this something called Open Router. I'll go to the models. And oh, surprisingly, we have 444, right? So it has been increased from 434 also, like what I have updated, 433, by the way. It's now, right now, it's 444 large language models, right? We are only talking about language. We are not talking about images or we are talking about any audio models. No. So we have three data points: text, image, audio. We are talking about the text, right? So we have these many models right now live into the LLM space. Right. And now this still comes up to the same question, right? How do you know which model to choose and where, right? So how can I be the person which can compare different models, right? And for us as a user, I should know if I have this task, I'll be using this model, or let's say I'll categorize now into two things, which is reasoning versus non-reasoning, right? And this you might have used recently, that there is something called reasoning models, there is something called non-reasoning models. So let me break down all of this for you with some practical examples, when to choose reasoning model and when to not to choose reasoning models. Right. So the two major categories, we can say reasoning versus non-reasoning, right? And that's where the use cases will come in that will help us to decide which model we should route it. Right. And this is where some of our reasoning models, which are doing a really great job out there in the market, right? O3, O4 Mini I, Gemini 2.0 Flash, DeepSeek, right? DeepSeek, by the way, I mean, when it came out, it shook the entire Silicon Valley, right? From the researcher point of view, that this small company, very small company of researcher have taken a very advanced model like DeepSeek, and it's pretty good also, right? I'll show you the demo. I mean, once we'll come to that slide, I have a demo to showcase to you, right? So all these are my reasoning models, which have a capability of reasoning their ideas, right? And now when to choose which one, let's play around it a bit and understand it. Great. Uh, so let me have that our use case and I'll show you. Perfect. Right. So if I have this kind of a prompt now, right, I'm showing you the use case of a reasoning task, when to use reasoning models. And from this example, you will correlate better and you can use it for your own ideas or whatever the problems that you are dealing with. Right. So that's the one example where we have lot many constraints in the prompt, right? And if I Google search it, right, I'll not get anything, right? So I mean, let's go through this prompt. If I just copy this prompt and go to chat Google, it will yield me no good results. Why? Let's understand that. So, for example, we have this brainstorming task that I have a 10,000 rupees to invest with laptop and internet for 30 days, right? So this prompt or the scenario that I'm giving in has a lot of constraints. I have only 10,000 rupees to invest, only laptop, and I have something called only internet, nothing else for 30 days. I want to start a home-based business that operates entirely online without requiring me to step outside, right? That is the second constraint, that I do not want to go so anywhere. It should be an online. Please provide me three business ideas. I'm only talking about three ideas, each with a direct plan, right? Detailed plan to grow my investment from rupees 10,000 to 1 lakh within 30 days. Again, I'm introducing one more constraint, which is growing a 10,000 investment to 1 lakh within 30 days, right? So now you can imagine, if I have one idea, for example, let's say starting a YouTube channel. Can I scale my YouTube channel for, I mean, for a revenue of 10,000 to 1 lakh within 30 days, it's a very unlikely to happen, right? So model has to think through all the ideas and give me only top three. Now I have added more constraints, right? The business should not be a service based, and since I have no coding skills, it must be achievable without writing a code, and it should be a no code tools, right? I don't want to use any of these. So it cannot be an app based business, because for building an app I need to know coding, so I do not want that as well. Additionally, the plan should not rely on running the ads, right? This complex prompt, if I just go and paste it on Google, it will give me a zero results, right? Because how does the Google will understand or modulate this kind of a user query, right? Now model has to think through it. And this is the classic example of reasoning models. And if I'm not using a reasoning model, right, if I go and use it in my free model, right, the by default, the 401, the model will start outputting me based on the probability only, right? So it is doing a probability, but whatever it comes as a top into its prediction, it is giving me those ideas. Model is not thinking out of 100 ideas, only give me the three which should follow all of these constraints, right? So you might see that there can be some ideas which involve, let's say, doing some spend on ads, or which involves, let's say, stepping me outside of my home. Right? It is 95% correct, but not the 100%, or I would say 90% correct, right? That's how the non-reasoning model are built on. They cannot think, they cannot reason it. And I have got my three ideas: resell high margin products via WhatsApp and Telegram automation. I don't know how it is feasible without running ads, and so on, right? And the final one, flip low competition domain names. But if I do the same prompt, right, on the advanced reasoning, the model will think through all the possibilities before giving me the output, right? And this is the paid model. O3 is my paid model, not comes with the free plan of ChatGPT, and the model is thinking, right? So model is thinking of all the possible. See, I have to give the ideas that can generate 1 lakh rupees from the 10,000 investment. I can do this, I can do that. So affiliate marketing, print on demand. So model is thinking through all the possible ideas, and it has to amend all my constraints and then give me the output, right? So finally, I got my plan, I got my output. How will I scale it? 30-day execution plan, and so on, right? So model has think through, I mean, for 20 seconds before jumping into the conclusion, right? So that is the reasoning model capabilities. And this is the paid one. If you want to use a free version, right, the best model, even I would say, if I have this task, I will use DeepSeek for it. The reason is the output are really, really great when I use DeepSeek in these brainstorming or, let's say, reasoning related tasks, right? So this is the DeepSeek. For the people who don't know, this is also the large language model. By the way, this is coming out of the China, right? So it is hosted in China, but it is, I mean, free to use. It's completely free. So if you have any task where you need to brainstorm without giving your personal identifier information, right, which we call PII, right? For example, in this prompt, I am just learning. I'm brainstorming. I have not given any details about me, right? So I just keep restricted because of data privacy and all, that my data should not go out in China, right? Because we all know about privacy concerns and all. I mean, it's with ChatGPT as well, but still I trust ChatGPT a bit, but then still I don't go and give my any PII, right? So this is how the model is thinking through, right? So if you can see, model is in a thinking state, no service-based approach, idea one, right? So this is idea one, drop shipping niche products via social media and marketplace. This is the plan. However, we cannot run the ads, right? Because I have given this part in my prompting that I do not want to run the ads. It has given the alternative route. And finally, it is going through all the ideas, right? Growth strategy. This can be idea two, idea three. So imagine that I am evaluating hundreds of ideas parallelly, and model is giving me the top three which abide to all my constraints, right? So this will lower my burden, and this is the best use case for reasoning related task, right? So now you got a distinction, right? I'll not wait till it's getting the output. It's still in thinking state, right? But I'll sum it here, that when to use reasoning models and when not to. Whenever you think that there can be more than 5 or 10 solutions for your problem, right? Do you have a very complex task of problem solving? Use reasoning models, right? It will think through it, all the possible combinations, and then give you the answer. If you have very basic tasks, right? Writing an email, writing a draft copy, like what we did, right, earlier, or learning something which is old, right? Like, can you explain me about, let's say, demand and supply curve in economics? Can you explain me 7 P's of marketing? It's already trained, right? Model is already trained. It doesn't have to be a reasoning model to get me this answer. Model can go back, get the answer without doing a reasoning, because it is faster also, right? This is slow. Model is thinking for 104 seconds, which is approximately 2 minutes. So model is in a thinking state for 2 minutes, and then I got my answers, right? This is my idea one and idea two, and still it is typing. So you can imagine they are slow. Why? Model has to think through it. So any task which has a multiple solutions and you have to choose the best, that is the use case of reasoning model. And as we showed in slide, right? These all are my reasoning models. You can now choose out of these which is performing well, right? I have O3, I have DeepSeek, I have Gemini, and this is how the model will think through and give you the right set of responses. Right, so this is the one example how the model is working at the backend and reasoning versus non-reasoning. So I hope this is clear. And now you guys tell me, are you excited? And we are moving towards the text and videos and images. Do you want me to go into that? Perfect. Great. I can see a lot of energy flowing in.
Absolutely, Divij. I was just replying back to all the questions that were coming in on the chat, on the Q&A bot, right? And I'm so glad that people are understanding the foundations of AI before we actually take them into, the actual use cases.
Correct.
Is amazing. And just one thing that I want to tell everyone, Divij, before we kind of move forward, folks, don't worry about the resources, right? Slide screenshots, slides, and all of that, we will take care of it, right? I see a few people dropping off, but people who are dropping off are going to miss out on, all these learnings that you are currently having. So absorb as much as you can. And people who are asking, hey, I am into finance, is this going to be helpful for me and all of that? It is helpful for everyone. Just trust the process, absorb as much as you can, and we will summarize everything for you after this entire session gets over. Just wanted to give everyone this heads up, which I think we can continue.
Correct. No, definitely, right? I mean, this context should be very much clear that AI is not for specific profession. AI is for everyone, right? Every profession needs to have AI right now. And that's what the open mindset, or you can say growth mindset, you should be looking at. That yes, how can I achieve my task using AI? And I have a very good hack. I mean, at the end, I'll share with you how you can be following your domain specific AI tools. Great. Okay, so now let's imagine, and we are shifting our gears towards more of a tool side, how we can explore more part of it, right? And what are the other capabilities of AI without, I mean, just not only the text part, right? So we have all the reasoning models, non-reasoning models. We now know about prompting. We understand about the LLM. But let's say I have a task now. I need to generate an image, right? I got a certain message that can you draft me or can you make me an poster, and we are doing some party, there is some event, birthday and all. So immediately we need a poster, right? So one way is, let's say I use some third party tool, I go to Canva or hire someone or tell someone, delegate this task that can you make this poster, right? But AI is capable of generating images. And when it came earlier, right, the model was not able to handle the text part of it. But right now, the model, which is GPT-4o itself, right, which is the text model, we are already using it, can handle the images with a lot of text, right? When I say lot of text, I mean, you might have not explored, but it can handle up to a paragraph of text, right? And that's where uh, I'll take one example of a poster, but I really want to show you what are the capabilities when it comes to a text. Model, and this is the only model as of now which can handle this part, right? So you can imagine this is the official website. I am on openai.com. A wide image taken where I have described about the image, right? How the image should look like in a phone glass white room, and the text on the image should read like that, right? So I've given the entire text. That left side, it should be pros and cons. On the right side, it should be this, and this is the output, right? I have personally tried. I mean, you just copy paste this, paste in your GPT-4o, you will get a similar image because this is the same OpenAI website, right? And all the spellings, if you see here, are correct, right? So this is the only model that can handle a large piece of text onto their uh, building it, right? So let me take an example of the poster generation, right? We will also give a lot of poster technique. So let's say, uh, can you design, right? Let me give some good tasks, right? Can you design a hackathon poster, which we are organizing on generative AI, right? And I'll give the detail, right? The poster details are, uh, it should be like event date, right? You have to give the event date. So let's say it's after 2, 3 days. So I'll say that 10th of June, 2025. And the venue is, let's say, online, Zoom call. Topic is building AI for gaming, right? use some gaming theme, right? So you just have to describe your idea. You have to just tell that what you want, right? I'll go and select on create image and get to it, right? So now model understand that the user wants a poster, not an image, right? So model will include all of these details onto your image and poster, and you get your final poster out. I mean, within, I would say, 1 or 2 minutes. And that's how the model GPT-4o is good enough to place the text onto your images, right? There are a lot of images model, but they are not good at placing a text onto the model. They are gibberish, right? If you use any other model, they are not good at placing the text, or they will do some mistake, right? When I say gibberish, that means it will do some mistake, right? But this is, I mean, it's again free, right? GPT-4o is free. You can generate, I think, 5 or 8 images per day, which is for free, and that's how you can use it. But let's say you have a one more task where you want some image of a, I mean, not a text one, but an personality, right? Like still it is getting drafted. I'll show you a free alternative, right? This is the one alternative GPT-4o. It has a limit of 5 images per day if you are on a free plan. But let's say you want to use another model for free for image generation task, right? So you can come up to the grok.com, which is from the XAI, and this is absolutely free of cost, right? Just click on draw and give your prompt, right? So for example, in this use case, I am writing some article, right? There is some war going on. I think right now it is between Elon Musk versus Donald Trump, right? Super angry on Donald Trump. If you're following some news, right? If you're aware of it, so there is a cold war going on between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, right? So I want to write some my views on that onto the LinkedIn. I need a good poster for it, right, to grab the attention of my users. So I will tell the Grok to generate this photorealistic image of Elon Musk looking super angry on Donald Trump inside a cage fight. And imagine that if I go and post this article onto my LinkedIn with this image and my post below, it will garner a lot of insights, right? Because it is I mean, it is capturing the audience and the faces are quite similar, right? So this is when I don't have text to be placed onto my images, I can use Grok for free, right? I can still use GPT, but this is more of a when you have lot of text to be placed. And now you imagine that this hackathon poster without any graphic designer, very innovative for gaming, I have got it within a 2 to 3 minutes, right? Now you rate this image. I mean, how much would you rate out of 10 this image, right? We have got the entire poster for my hackathon, which is on 10th June online, right? And this is pretty cool, right? I don't have to go back and ask my editor or let's say any person to make this. And AI is helping me in that. Great. Okay. Is my voice breaking or is it fine?
It's fine, Divij.
Okay.
Can hear you clearly.
Perfect. Yeah, I saw one message, your voice is breaking, but yeah, if it is clear, let's move on. Perfect, right? So there is no such hackathon. This is just we have created it and let's move on to see, right? Grok, I showed you already. So there are a lot of other tools like Leonard, AI, Grok, you have Midjourney and all you have might have heard, but those are the paid tools, right? Midjourney is the paid one. So Grok still do a very good job and we can create unlimited images out of this model, right? And another part is extending our image to a video, right? So there are a lot of video models in the market, right? You might have heard or you might have watched a lot of new, I mean, videos coming out of the Veo 3, which has released by the Google, right? And but it is not available in India as of now, right? But it is phenomenal. It can generate sounds and everything. But I'm talking about today's Sora, which is phenomenal again, but it cannot generate the sound as of now, right? So I'll show you one I mean, there are a lot of prompts like people have given. I can explore what they are building in. So this is a very good part. What I like about Sora is, right? So there is a whole gallery out there, right? So what people are building, you can publish it and I can see what they have written, right? So if I want to see what prompt goes in here, I can click on it and I can see it, what person has given, right? A person holding a mobile phone on his screen, Instagram app is showing he's scrolling. And with just a prompt, I got my video, right? So it's a good for learning, good for exploring also. And I have given myself, right, if I go to my media just before the session, and because the reason is it takes 10 minutes to render the video, right? But you just give a prompt and you have the entire video coming out of it, right? So that's how, I mean, you can create a stunning shots out of the video model and so on, right? So you can just see how we have created some of, by the way, this is Strings of Life, a wedding business of my brother, like he's into this wedding and all. So we have just given a simple prompt, can you create a video to showcase this particular wedding photography business, right? How they are capturing. And I have just described we are into weddings and all, nothing else, right? And I need an Indian couple, so company name, everything. So imagine that all my content creation is done via AI now, right? And this model doesn't have a sound as of now. I'll give you the hack once we'll come there, how you can attach original audio, I think Funny was talking about in the session, right? Like people were asking, I didn't find that song. So I'll tell you how can you generate these songs and attach to your videos also, right? So that you have a combined theme, videos from the Sora and audio from the that tool, which I'll keep it as a surprise as of now and reveal it at the later end. Right, but this is very good in producing a very, I mean, you can say camera shots ready for you, right? So this is where I introduce that you need to have me a drone shot, right? So you need give me a drone shot, so it should be look like as if someone has captured from the drone, right? So that's how a video model is good at generating. I mean, Sora is good at generating the text to video, right? So the prompt is given as a text, and I'm getting a video out of it. Right, so this is just an intro. By the way, I think you have an entire dedicated session tomorrow for image and the video generation. So you'll learn it more. I think Funny they
Yeah,
have tomorrow, right?
day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow.
Yeah. So all of the people who are asking questions around character consistency, more about poster making, creating ads using AI and all of that, hold on to your questions. We'll go deeper into image and video models on Sunday in the morning.
Right, you have a dedicated session on that particular aspect only, right? How you can generate videos out of it. And right now, what we are learning, like, see, you started off something from level 0. We want you to have the breadth of knowledge, what AI can do, right? What AI can achieve, what are the possibilities, the big picture. When you have that big picture, you can do it. I mean, whatever the task you have in your hand, right? So just laying down the big picture and narrow down to your use case, what you want to build in the future. Great. I think I mean, we can gauge your understanding. I think we are going good at the good pace. So let's continue. We are left with few of the things. I think we can continue, Funny, right? We don't.
Absolutely, we can continue.
Perfect. Right. So far, if I just summarize, we started off with the LLM, understanding the black box behind it, then went on to learning the six prompt or magic prompt formula, right? Where we did an example of email copywriting. We have understood the AI can generate images, AI can generate text images, videos, and everything, right? And how different models are, I mean, in this LLM landscape, reasoning versus non-reasoning model. And we did one use case of brainstorming with that, right? Now, the main point here is when I started off, the objective of AI is to save time of an individual for all the tasks that we humans do, right? That's the objective of AI. You pick up any field or any tool that will help you save time, right? Cost is also there, but the first is saving the time, right? So building our own AI toolkit. So I can map my task into those buckets and use those tools whenever I have that task, right? So some of the, I mean, daily task which you can think of that I need to do, or you being into marketing, HR, SEO writing, whatever the task or profession you are into, you can break down your task into these different buckets, and then we can find which AI tools I can use within those buckets, right? So majorly we are breaking into 6 buckets, and now we are going into the tools to see how we can achieve more productivity using AI tools, how we can minimize my research time by using the research tools, data analysis, right? Which is, I mean, for majority of the cases, majority means 90% of the job roles require any kind of a data, whether it's your HR hiring related data, it's a marketing data, customer data, product data, right? We have to crunch the numbers and get it done. Then how we can absorb and learn things faster, how we can make presentation better, and so on, right? So there can be multiple buckets, but let's see how we can utilize some of these tools into our day-to-day productivities, right? And save time, increase our productivity. Perfect, right? So let's see, the first task that we are talking about is summarizing the emails and replying to them, right? It's a very common task, right? And if I ask you how we do it right now, if you don't know about Gemini, I get some email into my inbox. I'll copy that email, go to ChatGPT, tell the ChatGPT, can you give me a reply? It will draft me a reply, I'll copy and come back, right? So there is a lot of back and forth happening, right? So the best way is I can use something called Gemini, right? If you see here, Ask Gemini, there is a Gemini within the Gmail, or when I click on compose, I can simply say that I can see this button, help me write, and my email will get drafted within the, within this window only, right? I do not have to jump back and forth, right? So if it's a fresh email, I'll come here and say that, can you draft me an email? I want to send it to my client and all sort of stuff. And let's say I'm satisfied with it. I will click on insert and my entire mail is ready over here. I just need to change my client name, subject, and done, right? So this is one of the best feature of Gemini if anyone wants to explore. Second is I can summarize my chats, right? So that is where I mean, the lot of productivity gain is happening, right? Saving time and all. So for example, I am facing some issues, right? I am chatting in the same thread, right? So for example, we have 6 messages exchange here. And the first message was back in Feb, right? So I don't remember the context, right? The manual thing is I go and read the entire thread and get it done. But I can click on Gemini. I have something called summarize this email. right? So if I click on this summarize this email, I got my summary within my bullet points without me going into the whole thread, and I can reply to my latest message accordingly, right? So this is the power of Gemini totally integrated with the Gmail so that I can use it within this inbox itself, right? How many of you were knowing about this, that there is a Gemini and you can use it within the Gmail? Just want to understand how many people wanted already knew this particular part. Okay, I can see few yes, few knows. I did perfect first time. No, got it. Great. Right. So going forward, you can utilize that. Just sign it up on Gemini and use it for your saving time in terms of having the email drafter within that window. Right. And now second one, right? This is really interesting and I use a lot of times. I mean, lot means on the daily basis, right? So I think most of us, this is not a question to ask that how many people watch our YouTube videos, right? Every one of us watch the YouTube videos. Content can be different, but we do watch, right? So sometimes what happens, like I really like or enjoy the long podcast. I want to chat through my video or get the summary out of it, right? So the best tool I can use is, I mean, there is a lot of tools, right? And one of them is Gemini itself again, right? Why? Because we have a totally integrated product and I can go to this and paste a YouTube video, right? So let me get a YouTube video first and then show you that this is how it works at the backend, right? So I think yeah, today this podcast, but personally I like WTF, Nikhil Kamath podcast, right? So, but they are quite long, right? So yeah, right. So these are quite long and they are detailed one. A lot of things are happening, right? So I think yeah, this is the recent one. So if I want to gauge the understanding, right? I don't have a time to watch the entire episode, right? I'm in a hurry. So what I'll do, I'll go to Gemini and ask, can you summarize it for me? Right? Can you summarize this video for me? Right? And I can do a lot of Q&A on top of it. And that's the beauty, right? So it is totally integrated. It is connected to YouTube. It will go and fetch all the transcript, get me the summary, and I can get a full overview of what was discussed, right? YouTube evolution. I mean, the person who was invited is the Neen Mohan, who is the CEO of YouTube India, right? So they have discussed a lot of things and so on, right? And now being myself, let's say a content creator, I want to ask question, right? Where this particular point was discussed, right? Does this podcast talks about monetization of YouTube channel, right? Let's say I want to know this particular point. I have a very limited time. I want to see where it is. So yes, this podcast discussed the monetization of YouTube channels. Neen Mohan, CEO of YouTube, explained the YouTube fundamental business model as an advertising model, which allows a large audience. And I got a timestamp, right? If I don't want to get see the entire video, I can go to this. It will open and start a video from this point where this question is coming in. So that's the beauty of using AI into your streaming applications also, right? YouTube is a streaming app and I can save lot of time while using the and LLM, right? This is Gemini is also large language model, right? So start using it to become more and more productive. So these are just few examples which we are covering so that your brain can see what are the possibilities, right? And now let's say you want to, I mean, summarize anything and do the chatting on the web app. I mean, I can give as a link, I have given the YouTube video link. You can give any article links and the model can do the summarization also, right? And one more tool which I will tell you is the MLI AI, right? What you can do, I mean, I'll quickly show you so that you can see how to do that for doing a chat and all. You can go to the extensions, right? So there is something called browser extension. Okay, and mostly you will see that all the Chromium-based browser, right? Google Chrome, the Brave browser, the Arc browser, all the Chromium-based browser have the same extensions or available readily, right? So I can search something called Emily, and there is something called Emily AI, which you can use it for free, which is the pop-up into your browser, right? So it will ask you add. I have just given the permission, it will add, and now it can come whenever I need to have a chat on some website, right? So that's the beauty of it, right? It will come to your YouTube, it will come to your uh yeah, let me enable it. Yes. Right? So it will try to have ask you for the login for the first time. And once you are logged in, right? So you will see that something is coming inside your this particular point itself, right? So you click on this in the YouTube window itself, you will see your MLI invoking inside that, and it will help you getting the assistance parallel, right? And you can take it to any website, right? If, let's say you are reading some article, some Medium blog, Medium data sciences, whatever, right? Whatever you are reading it, I'll go to that and I can invoke the same tool MLI AI and can ask it to summarize this page. And again, free to use, right? These are all the free to use. There are a lot of good amount of limit here. which can be utilized, and the page can be summarized via NLA. It will give you a quicker gist of your entire blog or article. Right. So I think it is working. Let's come back later when it is there and move on. Right. So this is one of the tools. Else we have the Gemini itself. Right. And the last productivity bucket in which we will be talking about is how to get more trending content topics on the internet when we have to post on, let's say, LinkedIn or an Instagram, right? So there are a lot of AI tools right now, such as Social Sonic, Supergrow, which can help us to navigate that particular point and automate our content generation plus posting, right? Both of them. I'll show you about the Social Sonic, and these are all tools comes with both, some free credits, and then you have to pay once you start liking the tool, right? So that depends on whether you can get the ROI or this is the task that you want to achieve from this, right? So this is the Social Sonic. I'll quickly show you how can I generate it, right? I can see my personalized content, what topics I like about, right? Let's say I want to see what people are writing in the AI space. So I can go to research and ask about top post trending this month, right? So it will show me how many likes that post has gotten, right? So that's the, beauty of this platform. I don't have to do a research myself, right? It will go back and tell it me that what kind of the content is getting hit, right? So let's say this is something, I can take any one of these maybe, right? I'm excited to share. This is personal, right? Well, let's say what makes an agentic AI different, right? Traditional automation follows, and this post has got 486 likes, right? I want to write it on a similar theme, but I don't want to copy it, but AI understand, right? What is the gist of that particular post. So within one click, I can click on this remix and Social Sonic will draft the entire thing according to my persona and my prompt, right? I'll just click on create. It will go and read about that topic, right? From that particular aspect. And the post category is leadership. I can control the length and the AI will start drafting the post and I can, within simple one click, I can post it to my LinkedIn account. Right. So that's how, again, if you see, the ultimate thing we are doing is saving time, whether we are saving time on YouTube, drafting emails, or writing my LinkedIn post, right? So all will drill down when you peel off the layer, everything will drill down to saving the time what used to take before AI era. Right. So I got my easier business ready for future automation, agentic AI is leading the charge, the result, and so on, right? I get three versions of it. Ever wondered if your workspace are stuck in the past? Agentic AI is changing the game in my journey with AI, right? So all of this, let's say I like this, I'll select this and click on publish now, and my job is done. Right. So this is how AI tools will help you become more productive. And when we talk about this particular productivity, right now, another very interesting use case is when we have any information present on the images, right? And it can be as complex as your dashboards, right? So if I tell you, right, you have to gauge 5 insights out of this dashboard by looking at this only dashboard, right? It will take some time for us to grab this, what is happening, what is this KPI, right? You might not know about these KPIs some of the times. So I can use this again, right? Image getting into the LLM and ask about, give me the top 5 insights, right? And within really quick 2 minutes, I get how my business is performing, right? So I just have to paste the image and ask, can you give me top 5 insights, right? So now model can understand, right? So the thing that you need to know is model can understand images, not just text. It can read through images, it can understand what is happening and give you the entire summary without me needing a personal data analyst to explain me what is happening, right? So my strong account receivables, I need 6.62 millions, healthy equity structure, and so on. I got my top 5 insights of the dashboard, and I can do a Q&A on top of it. Is there anything I should be worried about? Right, being a leader, we have these questions. The people who are leading the team, they need to gauge the understanding via dashboard, right? So the model can understand that, and it is telling me that yes, your high accounts receivable versus payable, right? The gap is getting increased. Inventory turnover could be optimized. Net working capital volatility can also be taken into look, right? So the use case is, how can I chat with an image which has a lot of information, and again saving my lot of time. Great, right? So this is the productivity bucket which we talked about, and there can be multiple use cases, but since the interest of time, right, we are limiting to few of them, and we are keep on looking at entire buckets, right? So now we are talking about the research, right? Let's say you wanted to do some research about something, and you want to get the entire information for that particular industry by doing a research, right? So it will take around 3 to 4 weeks, right? I'll show you the example that if I want to achieve this task, how many weeks I will take it for this complex task, right? And the tool I'll be talking about research is Perplexity. Reason being, it is best when it comes to finding the right set of links, right set of answers from the internet, right? So this is the Perplexity, again, another AI tool, right? So we have seen ChatGPT, Grok, we have seen DeepSeek, and I'm introducing the next one, Perplexity, right? And we have a Claude also in one of the future use cases. Now let's read our prompt, right? So now just think from the open mind that we need to gauge the understanding for this particular industry, which is coffee market, right? I want to do a market research. And this prompt, right? This prompt which I've just typed in is well suited for internet related task, right? I cannot do on the reasoning model. The reason is I need to have the insights from the real time. When I say real time, that means present today. What is industry happening in 2025? I cannot do this on ChatGPT. The reason is, I mean, if I just don't do the internet search, they are trained on the cutoff knowledge, right? Do you guys know about it, right? I don't know. I can show you, right, very quickly that there is a cutoff knowledge for each and every model, like GPT-4, right? So I can ask, what is the cutoff knowledge that you have? I think I did some spelling mistake, but I think it can understand. Right. So if you can see, my current knowledge is up to June 2024, which is a 1 year back, and it doesn't know any new events after that. But anything you ask, right, it has connected to internet, it can give you the response. That's what it is saying, that my knowledge is limited, but still I can give you the real-time response because I have a power to search from the internet, right? I can give you the answer from that, right? So if you ask, by default, it will go and do an internet search, right? Who won IPL 2025? It has started looking on the search. Why? Because model doesn't have this information. It was trained on last year, 2024 data till that it has a cutoff, right? So this is a classic example. And now if I have to do this research, right, I need a very good search engine as an LLM, right? Perplexity, by the way, is not an LLM. It's kind of a search orchestrator which can go and get these results fetched for me based on the all the large language model, right? It has a support to Sonar, it has Claude, GPT, Gemini, Grok, R1. All of these models are supported, and the model can choose automatically the best one, right? So now imagine I have to start a new business in the coffee market. I want to understand, right, the coffee market in India. What is the overall size, growth rate at which the coffee market is growing in? Who are the major players in Indian coffee market, right? Please include both domestic and international. Is there a potential for new business to enter into Indian coffee market? What are the barriers of entry? What are the opportunities that exist as of now, right? All real time. What types of coffee products are most popular, right? There is instant coffee, there is groundnut coffee, there is nitrogen based coffee right now. I mean, the trend, if you see, right? I personally follow, I mean, I am a coffee lover, so I know what kind of coffee are coming in, right? So this is my interest uh, in the coffee space. And then we have something called how cultural and regional differences are there within India, right? You all agree that filter coffee is more dominant in the southern region, whereas in northern India, a lot of people drink, I mean, cappuccino or normal coffee, right? So all of these questions, if you see, they are quite detailed, and we need to get the entire end-to-end research done. And this is where the Perplexity will plays a vital role, which saves me at least 4 to 5 weeks of work and the manual tedious task, right? If imagine I don't have an AI, we are living in 2021. I'll go to Google, read the articles, get this data done, and so on, right? So it's a very time-taking process, and that's how, I mean, AI is shaping all of our lives, right? And now it has already read more than 58 articles, and it is, I mean, doing a phenomenal job in terms of getting these search results answered, right? So now it has started giving me the output, and you can see the sources. I'll show you the sources, the trustful resources, right? Indian coffee market industry, markets and data. All of these are very much trusted resources from where this information is getting into our model's output, right? And I'll get my entire thing done. So I'll show you all of the resource. Yes. Right. So this is what I want to show you, the power of Perplexity. If you see the resource number 29th, right, it is coming out of the PDF, which is listed on the government side. Right. So this is government side, which is has went on to going into the coffee.government.in, coffee statistics, right, or the Karnataka where the coffee is made. It has went on to that resource, getting the information out for the real-time insights. Right. So that's the power of Perplexity. These are all the resources, more than 58. As a human, I cannot go and read all the 58 resources, and this is my answer now, right? I got all my answers. So it's a $1.81 billion industry, which is growing at the CAGR of 7.56% with this much year-on-year growth, right? Domestic brands, international brands, Starbucks, and all those. opportunities, distributions and channels, right? All of the detail if I want to do a market research into coffee industry of India, right? South India, traditional filter coffee dominates. Cafe culture drives the adoption with 40% of new consumers, right? So all these insights are backed by research now, right? So all of this is coming out of my research based, you can say web links, which are published on the Google, right? So this is the very practical use case when I have a very extensive research coming into the picture, right? And I can do something similar on the ChatGPT deep research and Gemini deep research. But if you ask me this question, I would prefer Perplexity and Gemini deep research over ChatGPT deep research. The reason is the kind of resources that Perplexity and just Gemini deep research refers are quite good, right? And you can now agree to this point that if resources are good, my output is good. If resources are bad, my output can deviate from the answers, right? So the only thing why I chose those two over ChatGPT for this deep research is the kind of links that it can refer. And Google is itself a search engine, right? So they have a tightly integrated product, which is the Gemini Deep Research. Perfect, right? Now, another use case for all the marketing folks out there, right? People who are into the marketing domain and who writes a lot of SEO articles, right? So one thing that ChatGPT cannot do is give you the live keyword analysis, right? And people who are into the SEO, SEO stands for search engine optimization. They will agree that I need to have keyword research done to rank my article on the top, right? So if I go to ChatGPT and say that, can you write me and blog on, let's say, future of AI in India, right? It will draft me an good set of paragraph and the context in terms of SEO, but it cannot have the live insight on the keywords that are trending, right? So for that, I have a tool called Writesonic, which is specifically for SEO and content writing, right? So people who have this task in your day-to-day job of writing a good quality blogs, SEO related, you can use this particular tool, right? So you can use AI article writer and you can see that there is a whole set of 10 steps article you can write. And I mean, I'll show you the keywords, what are those, and then I'll show you the output, right? Because it takes around 5 to 10 minutes to draft and do the research, but I'll show you how does it work in the initial phase, right? So enter any topic. So let's say I want to write on this topic only, right? I'll choose this and my target audience is India. Now you will see the article type and the keywords, right? So this is where ChatGPT cannot do standalone, and this is coming from the external tools that this tool, I mean, Writesonic has access to, right? Something called SEMrush, which is giving us the real-time insights, right? So this is the articles which are similar into my domain, right? The work of AI. And finally, it will give me a keywords, right? So if you see, it is covering the top organic keywords, like what other websites are ranking on the top if someone searches this key phrase, right? So I'll give you a very good idea of people who are new to this SEO term. Let's say I typed on Google best laptop under 50,000, right? This is my search query, best laptop under 50,000. Which laptops are coming with this query, right? So simple, best laptop, sorry, best laptop under 50,000. If I search this, these articles which are getting on the top, right? This is called SEO. How I can rank my blog to come on the top with this keyword, best laptop under 50,000. Right. So similarly, we are writing this article. I want my article to be on the top. And you can see that these keywords, now this information, right? These have how many search volume? 301K. Artificial intelligence, this keyword, obviously, right? This is need of an hour. So AI itself has 301K searches every month on daily basis on the internet, right? So this information ChatGPT cannot incorporate, and I can use something called these tools for getting my article drafted with all these keywords, right? I'll show you one which is already we have drafted, right? It will take 5-10 minutes, do all the research, give you the articles, right? And sort of this stuff. I think I can show you this one, right? And yeah, right? So it will generate images, it will do everything for your blog, right? You will get entire blog written for your website within 5 minutes. You don't have to spend hours in doing that research, right? So best energy drinks in 2025, what nutritionists actually recommend, right? So if I have published this, I'll get more clicks. My article will rank more on the top. This image is AI generated, caffeine content and source, right? Sugar and artificial sweeteners. All of this content is written by AI with the keyword research enabled so that my article rank on top, right? All these links also, by the way, right? So there is a significance of links into my blog so that I can rank it on the top. So I have the entire article done, which is of 2084 words, and I can go and simply download this. I can publish it onto my website, right? So this will save you a lot of time if you are writing SEO based articles. And the tool name is Writesonic. Again, it comes with some free credits, but once you exhaust it, you have to buy these credits if you have this particular task. Okay, great. Now the next bucket, which is data analysis, right? All of us needs to analyze the data, and I'm quickly, I mean, doing all this stuff, and I think we will be able to wrap this by 9:40. I think yes. So yeah, let's see some very interesting use case, and every one of us use Excel or Google Sheet for analyzing the numbers, right? If I have any one tool to recommend is the Numerous AI. I mean, if you are not into the corporate setup, right? If you are into using enterprise plan and all, you have the Copilot, which is doing the same thing. But if you're using as an individual, right, not on the enterprise side of things, this is a very light heavy tool. Again, comes with free credits, plus you can buy it once you exhaust, which is Numerous.ai, right? So it's positioning as Chat GPT within your sheets. You do not have to copy your sheet into the Chat GPT or let's say any other large language model, right? I will get within this sheet itself my Chat GPT and how can I use this, right? So let me show you how it is working. So and how you can get for yourself as well, sign it up. And second thing, I mean, the most important thing people ask me, can this tool see my data? The answer is no, right? And I'm not saying this, it is written in their privacy policy. So go and read about it once you explore this, right? If you have Excel heavy task, if you use Excel in your day-to-day life, right? I would say most of people of us use. So if you see their privacy policy, they are mentioning that we cannot see your data. It's all encrypted and it's an API calls which is happening, right? So you can read more about that. But let's say you have any data, right? In your Google Sheet or Excel sheet. This is from the Amazon reviews of the product Epigamia, right? So all these columns are coming from that. We have a rating score, right, which is of interest to me. All the scores between 1 to 5 for that product. And I have a review description, right? This is something which is important for me. I want to gauge the understanding. Let me delete this column, right? I want to understand the reviews, the sentiment of my customers. I want to extract the URLs. I want to see the charts and also a lot of things I can do being a data analyst within the Excel, right? So first thing, what I can do is I'll go to extension tab. I'll click on add-ons and get add-ons and search for Numerous AI, right? Similar what we did on the browser. I can do this into my Excel, right? So Numerous AI Chat GPT for Sheets. I already have this enabled installed and you can see my extension is already coming here, right? Numerous AI. If I click on this, I'll get my this chart enabled here. Uh, right. So let me do that. I think it always gives me error for the first time and then do a yes. Right. So let me ask something. I want to generate a formula, right? We all know that there are quite complex formulas which Excel can generate or we need to remember. So let's say I have different domains, right, in the column L. So I can just describe, can you give me formula for extracting domain names from column L, right? I just want to extract it from the column L and get things done. How can I use this? Yeah, I think it was working. Just a second. Okay, tokens are already there. Let me insert a new column. Okay, my tokens are there. I think formula is not working. Let me try the another use case, right? So now, right, we have this text, right? All the text review description. We want to analyze the sentiment, which is a very important use case for any business to see how my customers are liking my product or not, right? So I'll give it as a sentiment as my column name. And it is that simple that I can describe what is my column name where the reviews are present. So the column name is review description, which is present in column M, right? This is my column M. And I want to classify it into positive or let's say negative and let's say neutral, right? I want to categorize into 3 categories and place my result in the N2 tab, right? It will generate a formula for me, which is equals to NAI, which stands for Numerous AI. Classify the sentiment of the sentence which is present in M2 as one of the following, and I got my positive prediction already there. And now if you are familiar with how to use Excel, I can just drag and drop and all my predictions are happening on the fly, right? Positive, negative, and so on, right? So imagine I don't have to copy paste my entire data set onto the Google or I mean, let's say ChatGPT, Gemini, and get these things done. I cannot reveal my company's data, right? So still there is an alternative I can use as the Numerous AI, which is within the sheets, right? And I can do, I mean, anything within the Excel now. I can generate a formula, I can classify it, I can extract some addresses, right? I can extract, let's say I want to extract the domain name, right? Extract domain name from the URL in column L. and place the result in, let's say I'll create a new column here and place the result in L, right? So it will just do the extract the domain name from the, and I got my Amazon.in, right? So that's how you can do any task with just describing, not remembering any formula. I think I have done few of things, right? I have my sentiment classified. I have done issue description, right? Now imagine if I have a very big team, right? This is online epigamia product. I want to classify each and every review into whether the customer face, I mean, any issue I mean, classify it into, is it a product issue? It's a quality issue, it's a delivery issue, right? If it's a delivery, I have to talk to Amazon, or if there is no issue. So I can do that and easily see where the product is lacking, where I have to focus on, and so on, right? You know the use case, so I'll not go into that depth, but there is something called Numerous AI for data related tasks. How can I crunch these numbers? Great. Perfect, right? So now another very interesting use case. I mean, same image, right? How can I convert my image to a dashboard which is really working in the real time, right? So first use case we saw that where I can interpret the insights from images, right? We use ChatGPT to get those insights, right, from the dashboard here. But if I want to convert it into something real time, right, I can use Claude, right? I'm introducing you to the one use case for the Claude. So imagine we are giving you a breadth of tools that we are covering today, that these are all the out there in the markets, so that you can explore all of them after this mastermind, right? So I'll just have to give a prompt that can you make a real-time dashboard? That's it. Real-time dashboard out of this image, right? So let's say I don't want to go to the Tableau or Power BI to build this. The model will go and build a real-time dashboard using programming language React and all. But I'll get this dashboard real-time connected to my data. Let's say I later connect to it to my data, and I can get it done with this Claude, right? So it will take time. It usually takes 4 minutes or maybe sometime 5 to 6 minutes. But I think we are using Claude Opus 4, which is the recent model, and it will start drafting the dashboard, right? So if you see it has start drafting it, I'll come back here, show you the real-time dashboard once it is done. And let's move on to the next use case and we'll see once the dashboard is ready. Right, so this image will be converted to a real-time working dashboard now. And for this, we are using Claude, right? Meanwhile, the dashboard is working out. Now, the very interesting, right? A lot of people are waiting for this particular thing only. How can I create a music from the AI and become a composer, right? And you can add those music to your videos. The answer is Suno.ai, right? I'll go here, I'll show you now, and let's create something which we have just learned, right? And you can see the possibilities of AI song generation, right? So let me describe something like we have learned, right? We have learned generative AI specifically about the possibilities and LLM, right? Possibilities, and I'll describe large language model, right? This is what you have done. Get me the inspiring song, right? Inspiring song that shows capabilities of AI, right? We are asking AI to write a song for related to AI. And there are a lot of themes here, right? You can have a rap, Sufi, alternative rock, EDM, right? So let me select the EDM in this and click on create. So it is again free tool, right? You can generate, I think, more than 10 songs per day. I mean, it's free to use. You can download it after generation and you can, I mean, it always generates 2 songs for us. And let's hear what it has done for this theme.
Lines of code ignite the fire. Endless dreams take us higher. Woven thoughts in electric streams. AI fuels impossible dreams. We're the spark within the machine. Infinite worlds unseen. Algorithms dance to life, turning darkness into light.
Let's hear it.
Ignite the fire, endless dreams take us higher. Woven thoughts in electric streams. AI fuels impossible dreams. We're the spark within the machine. Infinite worlds unseen. Algorithms dance to life, turning darkness into light. From chaos come every line a revelation.
I can see a lot of excitement. People are asking whether it can do that, this, it can generate, right? By the way, Hindi also. So let's hear one Hindi song. I mean, I've just given a rap and then I'll tell you the practical applications of this. Can I replicate?
Zengadu, Put Karantan, Generadavaya, Itayan Nevanchan, Soch Utan, Kalpana Kurang, Pasha ke Samundar mein machayang. आगे करिश्मे सपनों के सिलसिले से दिमाग और मशीन के जोड़े नए रिश्ते इंसान की दुनिया बनाए नए रास्ते जिंदगी के हर कोने ले आए रोशनी के छते Yeah. Zenka jadu, kor karanjan, genera defy ka yene yamanjan, सोच को उड़ान दे कल्पना को रंग, भाषा के समुंदर में मचाएं AI के करिश्मे, सपनों के सिलसिले, दिमाग और मशीन के जोड़े नए
Perfect. I think people are already, I guess you can try it out, right? Like Telugu, all the regional languages. I think, yes, it can support all the regional languages. I've tried it, something in Malayalam, like a lot of time back. But yes, it can support multiple languages. But the point I want to make here is, and I want everyone to focus on, you can generate AI videos, right? From the tools like Sora and other tools like VO2 and all. Use this Suno.ai to get the music for your videos and use it together to upload it on the YouTube channel, right? I personally know a lot of folks, and I'm not telling you, I mean, this from the just theoretical point of view. There are a lot of people who are making money on posting the videos on YouTube from these AI tools, right? All, let's say, animation videos or kids videos, or let's say this, right? I mean, bhakti side of things, devotional side of things. They are making new songs, new bhajans out of this tool and making some AI posters and getting it done, right? I mean, getting a lot of views on YouTube, and this is copyright free, right? A lot of people will have this question whether I can use it. It's again copyright free, right? We have like Strings of Life I talked to you about, right? So this, we have created the anthem song for our brand, right? And you can imagine now the possibilities, right? This is the anthem song which we
Caught in the frame, we freeze the glow. Moments capture, time moves slow. Lenses wide, where love will flow. String of life, we let it show. Feel the spark.
right? So now you got a gist that you can create something meaningful also out of it, right? You just use it for creative purposes, use it in your, I mean, dedicated to someone in your gyms and workouts and so on. So try that out, whatever the questions you were asking, that it can generate different languages, because we are getting late, right? So I'll leave it up to you, explore this tool and let us also know how the language barriers are getting into this particular AI tool. And let me see if our dashboard is ready. Yes, right? So if you see financial management dashboard, I can click on this. It's still, I think, working, real-time updates, and I can see my ratios. I can see my charts, right? I can see how it is happening, how the performance is. I can hover over to see my revenue per month and so on, right? So if imagine I connected my real-time data, let's say Excel sheet or let's say SQL database, which is updating on the daily basis, I can have my real-time dashboard done within the just a prompt, right? I've just written a prompt and it will always be keep on having the newer values and I'll keep on having the updates in my dashboard. Right, so this is another, I mean, great hack in the data side of things. This is for the fun activity. And another interesting, I think this one we have left with two more, and they are very widely used for your use case in your day-to-day task, which is how you can learn and absorb things faster when you have multiple options, right? Multiple resources to learn from. And again, this is a free tool, which is Notebook LM, right? So everyone should know this is from the Google. I think I have this open or no. Okay, let me open it. Right, so Google LM, you can have it, sign it up, right? Just it's a free tool, sign it up with your Google account, and you can see that whenever you have large amount of data, right, you can make AI to get the answer from the same tool, right? So I have created so many notebooks right here. So let me show you this example. Right, so we have uploaded one general body test, right? Like blood test report, we have YouTube videos, we have another PDF. So I have multiple information from different resources, and this now can help me answer my questions from this, right? So we call it as RAG. Like the terminology here is RAG. I think you'll be learning more, but this is the best tool to do that, right? If you have an open source information, I can upload, right? I can add as many resources, I think up to 50 resources for free. I can attach a Google Doc, I can attach a slides, I can attach a website, YouTube video, and PDF, and so on, right? So you imagine that where your information is present, right? It's either on web, it's either in PDF, it's either in Google Sheets or Doc slides, right? It's either on YouTube video. Everything is connected now in this tool called Notebook LM, right? I have uploaded it and I can simply ask it, how is my liver test is doing. Right? So now it knows that model will know that there is a general body test PDF uploaded. I have to get the results from this, right? What is my liver function test is doing in, and you can see that it has referred to this PDF, right? You can see that model is giving the answer from this PDF, and which is exactly, I can ask it to explain me these parameters and so on. And let's say I ask, when is the right time to take multivitamin? Right? When should I take, either in morning, evening, after lunch and all? So there is a video which we have attached, right? The best time to take vitamins. Now model knows, right? User queries about this. It will go back, read the YouTube video transcript, get me the answer. So it will save your lot of times, right? And now it has went on to asking and giving you, right? So if you see the source, it is coming from the video, right? The best time to take the video, I got my answers. So it's basically my personal assistant, and I have dumped in all my information which I want to, and I am asking something on top of it. Very practical use case, right? I use it for my research purpose, right? This is specific to me being a data and applied scientist. I have published my research paper very recently. So I compared 20 of research paper, asked a lot of Q&A, and published my own research paper in one of the very famous journal. I mean, you can see it on LinkedIn about my research on the LLM side and AI side, but that is how you can use it for any purpose, right? You have any PDF, just upload and ask questions and do a lot of other things. You can attach as many sources as you want for free, right? So this is one of the very practical use case. Plus, you can convert any of your document into something called audio podcast, right? So this is a very phenomenal feature. I'll show you for one of the PDF, right? This is my resume, which I have uploaded, and I have converted into a podcast. So if you have any PDF, very complex, which you do not want to read, but you want to listen that, right, while traveling, you can convert it into a podcast. It automatically does that. I'll quickly show you very glimpse of it, but you can explore it at the
Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're looking into the professional journey of Deveej Bajaj.
Right. He's a data and applied scientist second at Microsoft with about 5 years in machine learning now?
Exactly. And we're aiming to kind of unpack his key skills, his experiences, and just his general approach in this, fast-moving field. And importantly, productionizing, where AI is heading.
right? So it can take the entire context of 100, 200 pages and give you audio output, and that again for free, right? So there are multiple tools which people don't know about, but it's hanging there for free, right? So start exploring, and this is a very practical use case. I mean, I use a lot of time. See, one more use case when we don't want to read something called car manual, right? I can bet that no one of us would like to read the entire manual, but we want to get some information, right? So let's say which engine oil is recommended in, right? Like this is Tata Harrier manual. In this, right? I will simply ask which engine oil. I do not want to know how many, at which page it is, but I want to get the information, and I got my information out. Right. So a lot of people who are doing research, who have multiple things, just go and upload and start chatting, make a mind maps, make an audio out of this very great tool, which is Notebook LM, free to use from the Google. Right. And the last one, again, coming from the Google, before we wrap up the session, I think this will also blow your mind when I show you the capabilities. This is very useful when you are working live on something and you need an AI assistant sitting beside you, right? Watching you, and you have an expert to ask you or get you things done, right? I'll show you two practical examples out of this. Let me open this, but yeah, right? So next tool is Google AI Studio. This is again free. Let me come back on our slides. Right. So again, if this is free, you just need to go and search about aistudio.google, sign up with your account, and you will be on this screen, which is Google AI Studio, right? The very important feature which we are talking here is the stream, right? If I go here, I can talk to Gemini live and ask my doubts, right? I'll show you two use cases here. So I'll click on share screen, entire screen, and I have two monitors. So I'll share this screen, share it, allow. Right. So sometimes it happens, this fails, right? This is a lot of times you will see that it will throw an error, but try it once, you will get connected. No, it is again showing me connection failed. I'll try one more time if this works. No, I don't know. I think Google server is down. Let me refresh it once. Maybe that can help me out. Share screen, entire screen, screen one. Oh, it's live now. Hey Gemini, can you see our screen?
Yes, I can see your screen. I see a Google Sheet with data related to Amazon reviews. Is there anything specific you would like me to focus on?
Yeah, I have this column called sentiment, and I want to draw a chart, and I don't know how to operate this Excel file. So can you help me? How can I get the chart done?
To create a chart from the sentiment column, you can select the data in that column, go to the Insert menu, choose Chart, and then select the type of chart you want, such as a bar chart or a pie chart, to visualize the distribution of sentiments. What type of chart are you hoping to create?
I think I clicked on right thing, right? It is showing me this weird chart. I don't know what it is.
It looks like the chart is counting the number of dates instead of the sentiment labels. In the chart editor, can you check if the label field is set to the sentiment column, column AA, and the value field is set to count?
Okay, perfect. Can you tell me now which screen I am on?
Unfortunately, the screen is now black, so I cannot see what screen you are on.
Can you see my cursor screen, the code?
I apologize,
Oh.
but because the screen...
I think
Can you
I've
show
seen
this?
only one tab here. Perfect, but you got a gist, right? So it can help you out. I'll stop, else it will keep on listening to us. And yes, right. So the main gist is if I'm working live, I want a live support. I can use the stream task and imagine how much time I'll save without copying the error, going to ChatGPT, pasting my error, getting the response fixed. And I'll tell you practical use case, right? Whenever people who are into coding, right? If I'm installing some packages and I'm getting stuck, right? I'm getting some errors. I have to copy that error, go to ChatGPT, get the response, come back here and paste it in my, let's say, Windows terminal, the Mac terminal, or let's say Windows PowerShell, both, if I am installing some packages. So that is how I can use, I have used practically Gemini Live that I'm getting error. Can you tell me what command I should execute next? And Gemini guided me live on the call, like I am talking to some companion and got my things done. Right. So this is, I think where we wanted to have the breadth of use cases. I mean, I would have still left a lot of use cases, but this is, I think, all the multiple use cases which we think that will make you more towards productivity, right? It will increase or enhance your productivity. And ask this question to yourself, right? We are almost, I think, 3 hours in the call. What you were in the starting and what you have gained now, what do you, were you aware of those things, right, in the AI space? So that is where you can have a conversation with your friends, with your family, that, hey, I have learned something new today in the AI spec. And I think with that breadth of knowledge, all the prompting, all the Gen AI, exploring the different set of models, the reasoning models, images, and all that stuff, I'll hand over to Funny. I think we can wrap this session. This is the entire AI toolkit, which we went through it today. And I hope everyone is feeling accomplished now.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Divij. That was a hell of a session. We got more than 350 questions as the session was going by. And I really liked the fact that people were actually thinking how they can implement all of these things. And they were continuously being mind blown with the extent to which generative AI has kind of evolved. Folks, we will have a break right after this. And we will have a longer Q&A as well. And let me actually tell you one honest truth. Along with all the 7,000 people that we have on this call, we also have an AI agent attending and listening to everything that is being taught. And tomorrow we are going to show you that AI agent to help you with all the questions that you might have, right? But Divij, there are a few questions that I've noted down, which I thought, you should also add your perspective for the audience. One of them was around the data security aspects whenever data is fed into these large language models and all of that, right? So what do you think about data security as an issue?
Definitely, if your data is confidential, right? If it is belonging to your company and it's private, right? So I would say definitely you should avoid uploading on any open platforms like ChatGPT and all. There can be two, solution to that. How can you use LLMs for your use case? The first is using the APIs, right? All of these models comes with something called API, and I think you will be covering API in
Yeah.
future sessions, right?
Yes.
So for the people who don't know about API, it stands for Application Programming Interface, right? So it's how model communicate in the real world, and you will be learning in the future session. So one thing, use API. Second, you can use is something local LLM, right? You can download the LLM, and this is most of the people don't know, right? So like how you used to download a movie, I would say 10 years back, right? Go 10 years back when there was no Netflix, when you have a torrent, right? Very active. We used to download these movies and watch it as per our preference, whenever we want. Similarly, you can download the large language model into your laptops. So I think that also we have
We will be covering that part tomorrow. Yeah. And
Right.
those of you who kind of did not understand or have heard API for the very first time, wait for tomorrow. We will kind of explain this to you as well. And this is what I was also kind of telling you on the Q&A
Yeah.
board. The other question that kind of came up, Divij, and maybe you can show this as well. How can someone, find specific AI tools
Yeah.
for specific purposes and all that?
Correct. I think that's the very good question, and I think that's a gold mine which I refer to, and a lot of people I'll recommend. So there is a website called There Is an AI for That, right? Let me show you practically. Uh, yes, right. So this is the kind of a search engine for AI tools now, right? And it keeps on updating. So right now it's have around 36,000. I mean, approximately you can say 36.5K tools live already. And I can go and search, let's say, according to my task. For example, I wanted a thumbnail for my YouTube video, right? So I can search something called thumbnail using AI. right? So it will show me all the tools which are related to thumbnail generation, and you will get it over here, right? So this is one way. Second is, I think, yeah, it's loading it. Right. Second, I personally love about this tool is the task part of it, right? So when I click on task, it segregates the entire thing for me, right? So now you are like, it's, let's say, into SEO. So people who are asking, how can I use it in SEO? You have the answer, right? Just click on this, explore what all SEO tools are there, and you get to know, right? And very specific niche, right? So let me show you interior designing, right? Very specific niche. How can I use AI into interior designing? You already have the apps. All of these are already live, right? You just have to click on it, explore it, and I mean, use for your purpose. Or if you're building something of your own, just find the gap, right? So you can have the, I mean, notion that, okay, this is something this app is not doing. I want to build something similar, right? So you go redesign your home instantly with AI. You can try this out, find the gaps, problems. But this is one of the go-to solution for any domain and anything you are building in the AI you want to build, or financial, job, resume, travel, startup advice, right? You have an AI tool for startup advice, SEO, everything you'll get it here. So this is the best resource. Everyone should bookmark it.
Amazing. I've kind of shared that with everyone on the chat already. You can take a note of this website. It's going to be super helpful for all of you as you go ahead and explore more. But Divij, I think, those were majority of the questions that came in. Of course, there were questions around people having to personalize these use cases for themselves. Somebody's from the finance domain and all of that. But I think over the course of tomorrow and day after, a lot more things will get clearer for them. But is there any final advice that you want to give to everybody?
Yeah, I would say, see, I mean, we are into AI, right? Like if people say that AI will not come, or government will stop, or anything, that notion. So I would say no, AI is already an integral part of human lives, and you should embrace that change, right? So the thing is, there is a tech, right? So I call it as infinite intelligence. It is infinitely intelligence than human beings, and we cannot compete that. You should understand, and you should agree also, that we cannot compete with AI in terms of knowledge, right? It has all the knowledge, everything. So embrace it for your day-to-day activities with a positive mindset and growth mindset. And if you can learn this, right, it's just a small tech. If you can embrace and learn with the positive mindset, you can achieve, I mean, anything you are building or you want to use AI for. So that's my final verdict.
Absolutely. And I'm super glad that all of them have, taken the first step to spend the weekend in this mastermind.
Yes.
At least get started. Folks, I've shared Divij's
Correct.
LinkedIn profile and YouTube profile link on the chat. You can go ahead and connect with him. But do drop in your word of gratitude to Divij. Advik, would be great if you don't spam on the chat, but do drop in your word of gratitude for Divij as we move forward. Thank you so much, Divij. The Friday evening you chose to spend it with us, and you took us through the length and breadth of AI. Thank you so much for doing this.
Perfect. Yeah, I can see a lot of gratitude. Thank you, everyone. And yes, definitely you can connect with me. And if you want to discuss anything, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and have a great weekend ahead and learning weekend ahead, I would say.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Folks, I've closed the chat so that I can share the link once again. I saw people, asking for Divij's LinkedIn link as the chat kind of boomed, but you can go ahead and connect with him. Now, we have one more hour from here. And in this first session, we already, I'm sure many of you already are like, oh my God, I didn't expect this much amount of content, this much knowledge to come in. We started off by understanding the foundations of generative AI, how these models really work. We then went into prompt engineering, and then we saw a lot of generative AI tools, right? Now, all of it that we saw in the last 2.5 hours is the beginner level stuff. And why do I call it the beginner level stuff? It is because all of it that we saw until now was very, very generic. From this point of time, what I want all of you to be able to build for yourself is the ability to think AI, right? When you think AI, that is when you will be able to take your problems, contextualize it, find an AI-driven solution for it, right? How many of you are business owners drop in a me on the chat if you are a business owner. Me on the chat if you are a business owner. All right. Can all the marketers drop in the word marketing on the chat? Marketing on the chat if you are a marketer. Can all the designers now drop in designer on the chat? Yeah, I see somebody saying CA. Okay, why don't we all put in what we do on the chat? Let the chat kind of blow up. I already have an understanding of this, but there's a reason why I'm asking you to put that in on the chat. I want you to think about what you do professionally. And folks, we will take a break. Don't worry. I have been standing since the last 3 hours, 4 hours, in fact. Oh, getting to 4 hours, right? Lots of students, lots of accountants, lots of finance people, lots of marketers, lots of business owners. Now, as I was looking at the questions that were coming, there was one type of question that was coming again and again and again, which was more about, hey, I'm XYZ. How can I incorporate AI into my own life? And the answer to that is everybody has to think AI from today, understand the true potential of generative AI that this mastermind is going to teach you, and then you contextualize it to the problems that you have. Over tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we are going to be learning more about how can we think AI, how can we think like AI generalists and all of that, right? But we will take a break now. But after the break, how many of you would want to build web-based applications? How many of you would want, I'll tell you why this becomes very interesting, right? And this is one of my favorite parts of generative AI. Generative AI has truly leveled the field for everybody. What do I really mean by leveling the field for everybody? Until today, I know that all of the non-technical people always thought that they cannot build products, they cannot build landing pages, they cannot build websites, they cannot do a lot of things that developers, software engineers, people who write code, all of these people can do. But that is not the truth anymore. AI has truly leveled the field. And what you need to understand, I see a lot of people dropping off as we are hitting 10 p.m. IST. But what I want you to truly understand is that all the tools, all the AI agents are already out there in the market. You have access to the same tools today. I have access to the same tools today. Divij has access to the same tools today. Vaibhav also, who runs Growth School, has access to the same tools today. It is all about how do we use these tools differently than others to be able to stand out. Do you all agree with this perspective? That AI has leveled the field for everybody. Everybody has access to the same things today. It is about how do we use them. What we are going to do right now is we will take a 5-minute break, right? The session, the whole day today is going to end at 11 p.m. IST. We have 1 hour to go, and I'm going to be teaching you some incredible things that are going to help you before you attend tomorrow's session. We are going to slightly touch upon the intermediate level things where I'm going to try and help you think like an AI generalist right now after the break. What do I want you to do in the break? Even if you don't have to go to the washroom, even if you don't have to eat, just get up from your seats, stretch out, refresh yourselves, and come back in 5 minutes. What I am going to do is I'll put a timer on the screen. I will get started exactly in 5 minutes. And I would want everybody to kind of come back because I'm going to help you think like an AI generalist. And I'm going to help you understand what thinking like an AI generalist could do for you. And if you miss that out, tomorrow could get difficult for you. So don't miss out. We have 1 more hour. We are going to kill it. You have done a super incredible job until now. Don't be like the people who are dropping off, right? So here's the 5-minute timer. And as you take your break, let me play a song for all of you. All right. Are we all back? Dropping the word back on the chat. The word back on the chat. I see. Yes, that all of them are AI generated songs. I really like the last one though. The Hindi one. Wonderful. I see the waiting room blowing up with more people joining in. Everybody who has left might be like, hey, now they're going to teach me how to build web-based applications. Do you all want to learn how to build your own web-based application? Drop in, ready, and we'll get started. Someone's calling me a liar. I don't know why I'm like, ready? Wonderful. Now here's the thing, right? What we are going to do over the next 1 hour is, of course, we are going to be exploring a few intermediate use cases, intermediate to slightly advanced use cases. But I'm very confident that after what you have learned already today, by spending almost 3 hours until now, you will be able to grasp what I'm going to be teaching. But beyond of the tools that I will be teaching you right now, I want you to be able to understand the thinking process, because it is that thinking process that is going to differ you or put you aside from everybody else. Like I was saying before we went into the break, it is very, very important for all of us to understand that what we have access to today, everybody else also has access to the same tools, the same technology. And this access that we are talking about is only going to grow over the next few years. Right now, people are learning, people are getting to know about these new ways of working. But eventually, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, you will see a lot of people who have gone neck deep into generative AI. How do you stand out in that audience? That starts with the thinking process itself. Now, whenever you have a problem right now, rather than just going ahead and looking for tools to solve your problem, I would want you to go ahead and think, hey, is there anything that I can build to be able to solve this problem of mine? Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about so that you kind of understand this in a much better way. Generative AI, like I was saying, has truly leveled the field for everybody. There is nothing that you cannot do today because you did not learn something, previously in your college or whatever it is, right? Let me show you what I'm talking about. I am just sharing my screen right now, and I opened this amazing tool called Claude.ai. Now, Divij showed Claude's abilities to build out data dashboards, right? And that is just one thing that Claude does. Now, Claude is this tool that has been launched by this company called Anthropic. And what large language model Claude runs is it runs this model called Claude Sonnet 3.7. I will tell you why I'm talking about Sonnet 3.7 so in detail, right? It also runs Haiku 3.5, Opus 3, and 3.7 Sonnet model. I will talk about, why I'm mentioning this so specifically. Now, let us say that I am somebody, and this is my real use case, right? I am a spendthrift. I spend a lot of money. Now, I want to be able to track my expenses. The expenses that I'm doing, I want to be able to track it. How can I do that? Of course, I can go ahead, probably find, tools or applications that can help me, understand my spending capabilities, but I'll have to pay for these tools and all of that. Instead, today, what I can do for this particular use case is I can come to Claude, and you see the dialog box over here. I can tell my same problem to Claude and ask it to build a product for me. Let me actually do that. Do you want me to go ahead and build a product in front of all of you right now? And this would be a finance tracker, right? I see a lot of yeses, loving the energy, even though it is slightly late in the evening. All right, let's go ahead and do this. Now, as I do this, I want all of you to wear your thinking hats and think about what are the kind of products that you would want to build for yourself or for your friend or for your family members, right? Let me go ahead and give Claude a prompt right now. Hey, I want you to build an application for me that helps me track my daily finances. I want the application to be able to categorize my finances into different buckets and also provide me daily, weekly, and monthly summaries. I want this entire application to be blue in color. So I spoke out my prompt, and you can see it on the screen. What I'm basically saying is, I want you to build an application for me that helps me track my daily finances. Very simple. I want the application to be able to categorize my finances into different buckets. I'm basically providing Claude all of the details. And once I push this prompt into Claude, what it will start doing is it will basically say, I would be happy to build a personal finance tracker. And on the side, you see it writing all the code that it needs to be able to write, to be able to build this application, right? Now, I am a completely non-technical person, but all that I need to do today is I need to be able to very effectively communicate the ideas that I have to these AI models that exist. The better I communicate, the better would be the results. Here, of course, in the interest of time, I've taken a very simple use case, but there are many, many more things that you can do. And what I want you to think, if you are a business owner or if you are an entrepreneur who runs your own startup, I'm sure you work with a lot of teams. You need to understand what are some tools that probably never existed until today, but what are some tools that you can create for your organizations itself to simplify the work for your teams. In fact, all the working professionals, you should use this technology. Go back to your managers, tell them that, hey, listen, with AI, we can go ahead and build this today. And if I build this today, it will simplify a lot of things for our team members. In the same way, we have built some internal products for ourselves inside of Growth School and Outskill, and it has helped us immensely with the kind of efficiency that we work with today. So this is a simple web-based application that is getting built right now. Now, as this gets built, let me show you another use case. And the reason why I spoke about Claude Sonnet 3.7 model is because this same model can not only build web-based applications for you, it can do so much more when it comes to coding, when it comes to writing language that only computers understand. The leveling of the field that I was talking about, that is basically, you don't need to know the language today. You are using natural language like English to be able to talk to these computers, and computers are understanding that, translating all of this into code. I think this is super powerful. How many of you think this is super powerful? Drop in the word powerful on the chat. Powerful on the chat. And on Sunday, we are actually going to be doing a deep dive into product building without writing a single line of code. Love it. Now, let me show you what this Claude 3.7 model can do beyond of this. Now, the example that I'm picking here is, let me show, yeah. Let us say that, okay. Now, we have inside of Growth School, we have something called as a 5-day LinkedIn workshop, right? And many people would have taken the 5-day LinkedIn workshop already. This is what the whole landing page of, the 5-day LinkedIn workshop kind of looks like. And Weber, who is the founder of Growth School, is one of the instructors in this 5-day workshop, right? Now, he's also the founder of Growth School and Outskill, which basically means I kind of work with him. Now, he came to me and he said, funny, this current landing page that we have for the LinkedIn workshop currently converts at 6%. We need to be able to take this landing page to 14%. from 6% to 14%. Now, those of you who are like, what is Funny saying? What is converting at 6% and he wants to convert it at 14%? Let me simplify it, right? Let us say out of 100 people that are seeing this particular landing page, 6 of them are going ahead and clicking enroll now. What happens when you click enroll now? You get the option of registering for the workshop. Now, Vaibhav tells me, Funny, out of 100 people, right now 6 people are converting. I want you to be able to take that to 14 people. And then I basically tell him, Vaibhav, this is great. You want to, even I want to increase the conversion rate so that it gets more users into our system. But for that, you need to be able to redesign this entire landing page, because the way I see it, it has a white background to it. It has like a red scroll bar on top of it. It has all these sections inside of it, but I feel it has to, look much better, right? That is what I tell Vaibhav, and I tell Vaibhav, I'm not a designer, right? I'm not a designer. How can I make this look better for you? I can't do that. You should talk to a designer. And then Vaibhav tells me, Funny, I don't care. You have to do this job for me. So what I do is, I'm not a designer myself, but I still try and step into the shoes of a designer. And how do I do that? I will introduce all of you to this tool called Bolt.new. Now, Bolt.new is an incredible designer and a developer as well, right? Now that I have this Bolt.new tool, what I do is I will take the URL of this particular website, which is go.growthschool.io, LI 5-day generic, kind of a thing. I'm going to copy this and I come back to my Bolt screen. I'm going to put this in and I'm going to say redesign this landing page for me, right? That's my prompt. And I hit enter. Now, why did I talk about Claude Sonnet? It is because tools like Bolt also are powered by the same large language model called Claude Sonnet 3.7, right? Claude Sonnet 3.7 is incredible for this kind of work. And what Bolt's team did is they have trained this model with design language and with the language of developers. And that is the reason why as soon as I hit the, I pasted the landing page URL here and I said, redesign this landing page for me. It thought for 6 seconds and it says, I will create a stunning production ready landing page redesigned for Growth School. Since I cannot access the original URL, I'll design a modern comprehensive landing page that captures the essence of growth focused educational platform. Okay. All right. So here it tells me it is not able to access the original URL, which is this, which is very weird. What I will now do is I'm going to stop Bolt, right? I've canceled this. I come back to my landing page because I've understood that Bolt is not able to read my URL directly. So what do I do? Let me share my full screen with all of you. What do? I inbuilt have installed this extension called Go Full Page, right? What it does is it helps me by taking a screenshot of the entire landing page for me. So it is now capturing the whole screen. It is, scrolling through, capturing the whole of this. And then it has given me the whole damn page, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to download this entire thing as a PNG right now. And there you go. I have downloaded it. It's in my system. I come back to Bolt. I attach this as well into Bolt. Now, though it cannot read my URL, it can see this entire, image that I have put in. So I'm going to say redesign this landing page for me. I have attached a screenshot of this landing page. That's all. I reprompt it because it was not able to go through the link all by itself. It is now processing. And let's see what it starts doing. It's thinking again. It's again thinking. Perfect. Now I can see the original landing page. Wonderful. It has context from the previous message as well. And it says, I will redesign this LinkedIn workshop landing page with a much more engaging, modern, conversion-focused design while maintaining the core messaging about the LinkedIn workshop. What you're seeing, do you think this is cool? Drop in the word cool on the chat and the output will start coming up. This is cool? Okay. Now let me show you what the same Claude 3.7 model has done earlier, right? We asked it to build the entire finance tracker for us, and it has labeled it Blue Finance Tracker because I mentioned in my prompt that I want this entire application to be blue in color. But as you can see, it has given me a day-by-day breakdown already. And it says income, expenses, balance, expense breakdown. And here is the section where I can go ahead and add a transaction. So I can say, I spent money on cab travel today, and I spent 499 rupees for this. transportation is this category that I'll select and add the whole thing. And it says cap transaction this much. There is of course dummy data, and I can go ahead and reprompt it saying that I don't want this dummy data at all. Can you remove the dummy data and give it to me? Now, once I'm satisfied with this particular, where is that? Okay, 1 second. I think I went. Yeah, okay. I went back. Let me open the preview. Yes. Now, what I can do to be able to share this particular application with others is I can simply click on publish. Click on publish and copy link. Once you do that, it gets pushed into Claude Artifacts, right? So it got pushed into Claude Artifacts right now. I copy the link. I can share it with as many people as I want, right? Someone says screen unclear. Nudula says screen unclear. Folks, are you all able to see my screen? Quick yes on the chat if you can see my screen. Okay, for some of you, it's blurry. If it is blurry, I'll tell you what is happening. Claude is using a lot of GPU in the background because Claude is not an AI assistant tool. It's an agentic tool. So it is taking up my GPU currently, and that is the reason why you are not able to see exactly what is on my screen, because Zoom is also trying to work on the same system at the same time with over 7,000 people on the call, right? Tomorrow, we will actually tell you what these GPUs are, why it kind of messes up with the screen and all of that as well, and how can you avoid that. Now, on my system, I can't avoid it completely. I would need a bigger system for that. But here is my Claude artifact that I built, right? So this is what Sonnet 3.7 model is capable of. I have built out this very nice finance tracker just in a matter of minutes, and I've shared it with all of you. I would want all of you to go ahead, create your own applications. And towards the end of the day, I'm going to onboard you into our community channel. At probably 10:50, I will start onboarding you into our community channel. You will all join in and be able to talk to each other. And I would want all of you to go ahead and share the applications that you're building. Do not copy what I have built. Create something of your own that is going to help you. That is how you think AI. Now, this is a very basic capability of Claude 3.7, Claude Sonnet 3.7, right? I come back to my Bolt and I see what Bolt is doing. There you go. The whole damn landing page is completely redesigned. Let me show you a quick preview of this. The whole damn landing page is redesigned. Give me a second. It's loading up. Okay. There you go. This was the original landing page that we had. Right? This was the original landing page that we had. And just in a matter of minutes, I got an agentic tool to redesign the whole landing page for me. And here, what it does is on the first fold itself, it has given me workshop highlights. It has, given this entire section. And as you go down, it has given me these nice little pop-up cards as well, right? And it has put up all the success stories, testimonials, has gotten all of this right. And it says, still not convinced, go to LinkedIn and search for Web of Sissinti or the LinkedIn workshop, and you will have all of this, right? Now, I take this back to Webhub, and Webhub says, funny, all that you did was you changed the design of this landing page. This is not going to help us improve the conversion rates. It is not converting better than what it was. And then I was like, oh my God, okay, what do I do now? And then I did some research and I understood that conversion rate does not just increase with changes in design. Of course, I can make it look better, but even the copy has to speak out. Then I started scratching my head and I said, I am not a copywriter. What can I do? Because I have been exposed to AI so much, I realized that I don't have to spend a lot of money hiring a copywriter for Growth School and write the entire copy. What I did was I again have this PNG file of the entire landing page, our first landing page. Instead of just going to bolt.new, like how all of you have seen right now, this is what rookie AI users would do. They would think that there is a tool. They would map that tool directly to the problem that they have, and they would get an output like this, which is, I feel, okay, not too great, right? How much would all of you rate this landing page on a scale of 10? On a scale of 10, how much would you rate it? I see 6, I see 7, I see 4. Yeah, I see 5, I see 3. All right. Someone says 9. Okay. What I'm going to do right now is, Raj, you're going to get the complete list of all the tools that we're using. Don't worry about it. What I'm going to do right now is, I told you that Webhub asked me to redo the copy of this page and the design of it, right? So I come to ChatGPT itself And inside of ChatGPT, I'm going to be using a reasoning model here, which is O3, which is an advanced reasoning model, right? Now, why am I using a reasoning model? Because Divij mentioned in his first session that reasoning models are used to solve for complex problems. Now, my complex problem is that first, I want this landing page to convert better, 6% to 14%. Now I know that if I improve the copy of this page and if I improve the design of this page, the conversion rate will go up. I know this, but I don't know how to do it. So because I think this is a complex problem, I come to ChatGPT and I use the O3 model, which is a reasoning model. And I put in this entire PNG file or the screenshot of the landing page to ChatGPT. And then I asked ChatGPT, hey, I want you to act like a conversion rate optimization expert. You are very, very good and have more than 20 years of experience writing copy that converts and also suggesting visual changes to be able to increase the conversion rates. The problem that I have is our LinkedIn workshops landing page currently converts at 6%. I want to be able to increase that to 14%. Now, as a CRO expert, I want you to be able to, or I want you to go ahead, wear a critiquing lens, analyze every section of this entire landing page, critique every section of this landing page, and after you analyze and critique, I want you to suggest changes that I can make both on a copy level and on a design level to be able to increase the conversion rate of this landing page. Have you understood the entire task and the problem statement that we are trying to solve? And I spoke it out. I probably could have done a much better job by typing it, but I'm too lazy to type it. But towards the end, I always ask, have you understood the entire task and the problem statement that we are trying to solve? Because that will help me understand whether ChatGPT has understood what we wanted to do. So it now summarizes everything, right? It says I can understand the task. The goal is to analyze and critique the landing page to be able to increase the conversion rate from 6 to 14%. I'll focus on every section of the landing page. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. And then once it has explained that, it says I will now analyze the content and layout based on your upload. Let me break it down and identify key areas for improvement. And then it says every section it has kind of gone ahead, broken it down, critiqued, suggested new changes for every bloody section of the landing page, right? What I now do is I'm going to say, now, as the same CRO expert, I want you to write new copy for this entire landing page by taking into all of these pointers as suggestions so that we can, through the copy, we can increase the conversion rate from 6% to 14%. Now, once you have given me the entire updated copy, I also want you to give me design guidelines. I will be passing on these design guidelines to my designer who is going to design and develop this entire landing page for me. And even through the visuals of it, I want the whole landing page to convert much better than what it is right now. So give me the design guidelines as well as the new copy for the entire landing page. And in the design guidelines, make sure that you are telling the designer that I would want to redo this entire landing page in neon and green colors. Okay. Now it is taking in my entire prompt and there you go. I'm basically going to say, I haven't read through all of this, but I'm basically telling it, hey, now you went through the entire landing page. You saw what all things need to be changed. Now write a new copy for this. And after you write the new copy, I also want you to give me design guidelines. Who is the designer for us? Do we have a designer? Who is the designer for us that needs to understand these design guidelines? GPT is the designer for us. Are you listening to me? Many people are. Some people are not. Yes. Claude. No, Claude is not the designer. Bolt is the designer, right? Bolt is the designer. You are not going to find the lectures recording, Devang. Everything is live here. We are not recording this. But here it says, absolutely, here's the updated copy along with the design guidelines. Wonderful. So it says hero section, price section, all of the sections. It has gone ahead and given me everything. Yes, it's given me everything. And it also says design guidelines, primary color, accent colors, and all of that. What I basically do right now is I am going to copy all of this from the top to the bottom. I'm going to go to Bolt once again, and I'm going to give all of this to Bolt. And I'm going to say, you are an expert at visual design. You have more than 20 plus years of experience as a visual designer, and you have worked on websites like Apple, Netflix, and Cred. I want you to take the copy that I have given below, redo the entire landing page for me by using neon and green colors. Right? I've given this entire context and I've given Bolt also a role. I'm saying you're an expert at visual design. You have more than 20 plus years of experience, right? So that it starts thinking like a visual designer. What you need to understand is all these models have been trained with a lot of data. When you give them specific roles, what they essentially do is from the entire data or the world of data that they have been trained on, they pick certain things based on the keywords that you're putting in. And that narrows down how AI will work for you, right? Somebody was asking a beautiful question sometime back on the Q&A, to me that, hey, how can we tell these AI models that a specific text needs to be highlighted? That happens through markdown prompting. We are going to be learning that tomorrow, right? So I could not go deeper into it, but there you go. It has started working for us. Now, as this works, just because I have an itch, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to copy this entire prompt as it is. Let me do that properly. I'm going to copy this entire prompt as it is. This is just an extra, guys. This is how I work. I'm just telling you how I work these days. You can choose to do this, not to do this. It's absolutely up to you. But I'll tell you what I'm doing by copying all of this. Why the... Yeah, I've copied all of this right now. And just for the heck of it, what I'm going to do is I will open another tab of bolt.new, right? And I'm going to put the entire thing once again along with the file. And I can do this as many times as I want. The reason is now I have two different designers working for me and two different developers working for me at the same time. Both, even though I have put in the same prompt to Bolt again, the outputs are never the same. This is what Divij already mentioned to you in session 1. The outputs are never the same. That is why you can have 10 different designers working for you at the same time. And all the 10 of them will give you 10 different variations and you can pick one out of the 10, right? This is how, my friend, you will also be working very, very soon in the future. Irrespective of who you are, do you think all of this that you're seeing right now is helpful for you and you're understanding the way you need to think even when you're using these tools? Drop in the word helpful on the chat. Helpful on the chat. People are like very helpful. Yeah, pushing this to live publication and all of that, will be covering that on Sunday. If I cover all of that right now, you will be mind blown. Wonderful. Now, I'm waiting for Bolt to complete its job. But if you go through this, right, it told us what it's going to do. It's creating some files. When you click on this button called code, you will actually be able to see what it is writing inside of it, right? And on Sunday, we will actually be teaching you how can you go ahead and publish these websites, and I'll actually show you one example as well, right? But this is what Bolt has given us right now. Let me open this. It has completely redone the entire landing page for us. Transform your LinkedIn profile in just one day. Why is this workshop so affordable? Wonderful. This section is there. Urgent, only 199 rupees. Here's what you will walk away with. And it has these nice little pop-ups once again. But I feel the copy is much more standing out right now because we reworked on the entire copy. How much would you guys rate this entire landing page that you're seeing on a scale of 10? How much would you rate this? I absolutely love this particular output. And we have one more that is coming up. It's not come up yet, right? But I'll also show you the true potential of this. Very recently, I had a client, right? And I created an entire website for the client. Do you all want to see the website that I created just using Bolt? Website that I created just using Bolt? Yes, and I'll show, otherwise I'll not show. Yes? Okay, wonderful. So this was a skincare clinic that I had gotten as a client, and I pushed this live, right? It's live on this thing. And this is what the entire website looks like, right? It says Cosmos Aesthetic Clinic, book your free consultation. I'll just take you through the different sections, but all these nice little animations on text, etc. have been added. Look at the rating section. Why choose Cosmos? All of this very nice design, all the services that they have and everything else, right? This is completely created with Bolt itself. It says schedule your free online consultation, and all of this is completely live, right? So this is what I was able to create completely with Bolt.new. And this is what all of you should be able to do yourself as well. Now, Now that I've shown you the capability of coding tools that are powered by Sonnet 3.7 model by Anthropic, I hope all of you have gotten a sense of how your thinking also needs to evolve as you learn all of these tools. With the same thinking, we will come back tomorrow and we will get into the advanced concepts. We are not done yet, right? I'm going to also onboard all of you into the community. But what I also want to give all of you is, a lot of you have asked on the Q&A, hey, the beginner level is fantastic. How can I go deep into all of these AI models? How can I truly understand which model to use where? All of these are the thoughts that many of you had. And I thought I would address this very, very quickly for all of you, right? In terms of how can you become a true AI generalist? And by the way, it is not just AI generalists that all of us have to become. We have to become a true generalist in reality. And I'll show you what a true generalist would need, or what are the skills that you need to learn to become a true generalist. Do you all want to know how you can continue to learn, how you can become a true generalist? Yes, on the chat, and my screen should be perfectly fine right now because I've closed my bold tabs. Are you all able to see my screen clearly right now? Let me actually close all of these out so that my GPU comes back to normal. Wonderful. All the prompts, etc., will be shared, right? But let's focus on how can we become better at all of these things in the future, right? What we are learning in these 2 days is going to set you up on the journey of becoming an AI generalist. And I also told you that it's not enough for you to become an AI generalist. We all need to grow into generalists today. And I'll tell you what it would take for us to get there, right? Now, there are many, many more things that you have to learn in intermediate, advanced, and beginner levels as well to be able to solve problems with AI. Of course, through these 3 days, 2 to 3 days, we are able to take you through the length and breadth. But we have also created a roadmap to kind of tell you what are the things that you need to learn beyond of all of the things that we are able to cover, right? Because, we spoke, David spoke about API keys. He also spoke about installing LLM models locally and all of that. How can you go about learning all of these things? What we have also realized is that a lot of people do not know or do not understand what to learn to master generative AI, right? To become AI generalists. Do you all want me to give you a roadmap today? And this roadmap, if you want it, then you will also get it as a PDF, much later on your emails. Do you want me to spend the next 20 minutes giving you this roadmap, and then I will onboard you into this community? And it's going to probably extend our time by 10 minutes, but I think this is very important. And I built this as all of you were asking me, how can you go deep into generative AI, right? Now, what I've done is everything that we do as AI generalists inside of Growth School, Outskill, and everything that we have taught to people so far, I've put all of them into 7 different steps. And all of you should master these 7 steps that I'm going to be talking about, right? Even after this mastermind gets over, what you should do is you need to go extremely deep into prompting techniques. There are many, many prompting techniques that exist today. These prompting techniques are what will help you communicate with AI models really well. And only if you communicate with AI models really well, they will not hallucinate. You have to, by the end of it, be able to create your own AI agents. These AI agents have to work in a constrained environment. And that constrained environment is given by good prompts. So you need to go very deep into prompt engineering as step 1. And you need to learn how to build RAG-based models. I'll give you an example of what RAG is. It's retrieval augmented generation, right? What RAG-based tools? NotebookLM is one example of that. AI Studio is another example of that. ChatGPT is not an example of RAG-based tools. What are RAG-based tools and why should we bother to learn about them? Now, when you use ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or any large language model for that matter, you will realize that they all have a context window. What does that mean? If you go to ChatGPT and upload a 5,000 page document, it will not be able to take that document. It will in fact come back to you and tell you that, hey, I can't process such a large file. And you should not think that AI models cannot process large files. They can, but you need to give them the ability of breaking down large context into smaller buckets. When a large context piece is broken down into smaller buckets for AI, that is when it will be able to consume this. Why am I sharing this with all of you? Because I know that a lot of you are business owners, you're entrepreneurs, you're running your own organizations. You might want to build AI agents for your organizations. And for you to build AI agents for your organizations, you will have to build these AI agents with a lot of your proprietary data. problem with all these generative AI models that exist is they are all generic models, right? They are trained on vast amounts of data sets, not your data set. If you are able to train these models with your data set by ensuring that security is intact, data security is intact, of course, by installing these models locally, that is when you will be able to use generative AI to the fullest potential. Step 2, once you have completed step 1, is when you need to write something called as system prompts. We are going to go into system prompts tomorrow. You will get a sense of it. And you should learn how to build voice agents that talk exactly like human beings, because this is going to give you a sense of how can you train AI models and how can you go ahead and, you know, with your proprietary data, like I was saying, how can you train these AI models and make them work for you and accomplish your own tasks. Once you do this, you then go into step 3, which is all about diffusion models. What are diffusion models again? Can somebody tell me on the chat, what are diffusion models? How are they different from text models? Diffusion models, we spoke about it on day 1. Voice, no idea. Sorry, we spoke about it in the session 1. Why am I saying day 1? Yes. Image and video. Divij spoke about image and video tools. All of these image and video tools are diffusion models. Very surprising that many of you got it wrong on the chat. Like, as a teacher, it is heartbreaking, believe it or not. But focus, everyone. Today, I will let you all go very quickly in the next 15 to 20 minutes, because I also know that you have had a long day. Tomorrow, focus completely on every word that is being spoken. Diffusion models are different from text models because they generate images and they generate videos for us. You need to learn diffusion models irrespective of who you are as of today. Why? Because as an entrepreneur, you might come up with creative ideas that even your creative teams are not able to come up with. As a marketer or as a data analyst or as whatever you are, you might be able to come up with ideas that nobody in your teams would be able to come up with. Can you yourself give them direction to execute that? Yes. If you don't know diffusion models, you will not be able to. You will not know that the road exists, and you will not, if you don't know that the road exists, you will never take that road. So diffusion models should be step 3. And you need to go slightly deep into diffusion models. All these image and video models are getting extremely crazy. I don't know if all of you have heard of Google's VO3 model. It is mind-boggling. If you have not heard of Google's VO3 model, you need to Google it right now. And it's a video generation model that Google has recently launched. It is not here in India yet, but we get access to everything that comes out into the AI world. It is super incredible. That is what you need to get into step 4, right? That is what you need to learn. You also need to learn not just to use these tools to create something out of them. You need to learn how to create such tools yourself. That is the beauty. I actually want to show you a tool that I have built for this particular session. I'll probably take your permission and show you that later. But step 5 is when you consume all of this, you learn all of this, and then you get into building AI agents. I told you there's an AI agent that is attending this call right now. We will show that AI agent to you tomorrow. You will be mind blown by the capabilities, right? You will have to learn how to build your own AI agents that can work autonomously. Step 6, you have to build real AI products. I'll show you one product that I was probably able to build. Step 7, you need to build automations, right? Process optimization is happening today with AI automations. You might be like, funny, automations have always existed. I have been doing automation since 10 years, or I know somebody who does automations by writing code since the last 10, 15 years. The times have changed, my friend. What I'm talking about are not traditional automations that we have seen. I'm talking about AI automations. I'm talking about automations that you can build today without writing a single line of code. Do you all think this is powerful? Drop in the word powerful on the chat. Powerful on the chat if what I just showed you, if you are able to learn all of this, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, right? Nobody will be able to beat you if you're able to grasp all of this. And you will be able to open a lot of opportunities for yourself, right? Somebody, okay. Panasa, backend and all of that we'll discuss on Sunday, right? We have a full-blown session on product building, and I'll take all your questions towards the end. But folks, step 1, take a screenshot of what you're seeing right now. Write it down in your notebook. It will take you 3 to 4 years to learn all of this. I'm being very honest. Generative AI has gone very, very deep, right? And it is not sufficient for us to just learn generative AI. I'll talk about that as well. But only generative AI has gotten so deep that it is going to take you 3 to 4 years to learn all of this. But if you are learning and if you build that graph for yourself, it's going to be a game changer for you. So take a note of this, take a screenshot, and we will then move on. Drop in the word done on the chat if you have taken a note of this, if you have taken a screenshot of this. Wonderful. And team, it will be very helpful if you can also take a screenshot of this and put this up on the chat. Any which ways, we'll be sending this to everybody after the mastermind gets over, right? If you complete the mastermind. But apart from all of this, you need to have a very, very strong understanding of generative AI tools that exist and AI workflows as well. What I showed you with the landing page optimization example is an entire workflow where we put in multiple tools together. We took the output from one tool, fed it as an input to another tool, and then built something on top of that. That is a classic example of AI workflows. And tomorrow and day after tomorrow, everything that you will see will be AI workflows. They will not be just us using AI tools. Today, David showed you 15 plus AI tools, but we used all of them individually. It was not interconnected. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, you're going to be learning how interconnected AI workflows really work, and it's incredible, right? Now, these tools and workflows are way more powerful than what you can imagine. And what I want to show you is some of the tools that you have to go very deep into, right? And some of the workflows as well that could be helpful for you on a day-to-day basis. Tools, ChatGPT, Claude, take a screenshot or note it down. Notebook LM, Perplexity, the Gemini, Notion, Google AI Studio. A lot of you on the Q&A chat were asking, how do I choose the right model? When do I choose the right model? Which model is right for which use case? All of that should come from you. You should not be asking somebody that. It should come from you, and you should learn it and use it. Manners, you're going to be seeing Manners tomorrow. Hugging Face, Make also is covered tomorrow. Zapier, Copilot, GenSpark, all of these are incredible AI tools that you should go deep into, and workflows as well. Take a note of all of this. Now, AI is also evolving very rapidly. That is why you always need to be able to stay on top of everybody. You need to be able to, keep yourself updated with all of the things that are happening in the AI space as well. And that is why I feel to become a true generalist, knowledge of AI is not completely enough, because knowledge of AI will teach you probably, tools and AI workflows and all of that. But you also have the capability, you should also have the capability of solving problems, right? You need to be able to identify problems and then solve problems. And that is why I personally feel that, we believe at Outskill that just learning AI is not going to help you push your boundaries. You also need a strong business understanding. You need to know what drives needles, what moves needles forward inside of businesses. In my prompts, I was able to give AI tools a lot of roles. I was able to give it a lot of context. I was able to understand the business problem firsthand myself, and then I was able to translate that to an AI model, right? That is what you should be able to do. And if you ask me what are all of the business level things that I need to learn to become a generalist, there you go. Take a screenshot, right? Design thinking, first principles thinking, problem solving, consulting, fundamentals of UI UX design. You might be like, funny, I'm not a designer. Well, specialists are going to lose their jobs. The market needs generalists. Generalists should have an idea of the entire world. It is going to be tough, but if you are able to do it, opportunities are going to be limitless, right? Finance, operations, logistics management, strategy, all of this are things that you need to learn. Our team has shared a screenshot on the chat. You can go ahead and download it, right? All of these, if you actually think about it, is what is taught in MBA schools, right? And that is the reason why all the MBA graduates were the ones who were getting paid much more than everybody else until today. You should also do it. That is my hope for all of you as your host. A strong understanding of business, strong understanding of AI, strong understanding of marketing, all of these put together is what will help you push your boundaries forward. And that is something that will help you also start side incomes for yourself, right? Tomorrow, there is going to be a full-blown session on making money with AI. If you are somebody who wants to make money, additional income for yourself, do not miss out tomorrow's Make Money with AI session, right? But my strong recommendation for all of you is to learn all of these skills that I've spoken about for you to be able to move forward. But while you learn all of this, there is also one fundamental skill set that were never taught to us in schools, neither in colleges, neither in MBA schools, right? And I feel this fundamental skill set is what everybody needs to pick up. It's not an option. It is just unfortunate that not a lot of people spoke about it until today. What is that skill set, you might be thinking or asking me right now in your own mind? Well, that is a skill of monetization. How can you monetize everything that you can give as value to people? The art of making money with all the skills that you have is something that you need to learn. And inside of this, what are the things that you need to learn? You need to learn how to generate organic sales, how to use this platform called LinkedIn the right way. If you are not on LinkedIn, please get on to LinkedIn. It is super helpful to network with the right people, to find clients, to find customers, and all of the things. Cold emailing, management consulting, foundations of running ads on Facebook and platforms like Google. All of this is going to help you make money, my friends, today. In today's world, you need to learn all of this, apart from learning AI. So AI, all of this is going to make you a winner, right? Is this clear? Is this clear for all of you? Drop in the word clear on the chat. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. I will give you the list of all the AI tools. Don't worry about it. For now, I want you to absorb what you're seeing, right? What I'm very happy about is that all of you have gotten started on the journey. This weekend is going to be a game changer for you. And I'm not saying this myself because I'm conducting it or hosting it for all of you. I have hosted the same mastermind for over, I don't know, 90,000 people right now. You might make it a lakh, right? That is the amount of people that we have trained over the last many months. You are attending something very similar. And this is what people told us, right? And if you are able to learn all of these things faster than everybody else, take your learnings forward after the mastermind, after completing this mastermind, you are going to stand chances of grabbing opportunities like nobody else, right? Now, before I onboard you into the community,